PCE coming in line with expectations here on the headline and core number, it looks like. To actually downside a little bit there for the core number, 2.9% versus a 3 print expected for the core number for December. Headline PCE, 2.6% in line with 2.6% consensus estimate, the forecast 2.7. So downside both sides of the equation here again, 2.9% versus 3, 2.6 versus 2.6 on the headline numbers. So the final inflation data point there before we get the Fed coming up next week. I'm sure they'll be happy to see that. Coming up at 10 o'clock this morning, some pending home sales. That's about it as far as economic data. Remember, we're already in the quiet period for Fed speakers, so we won't hear from them until after the Fed meeting coming up next week. But good look, yeah, 2.6% in line with expectation for the headline number, 2.9 versus 3% there for December core PCE. Ton of things to get to here this morning on an individual basis. Intel, top of the list this morning, coming off their earnings report. Miss in this semiconductor group, so we'll talk about that, the entire group. Downside on that this morning. We'll talk about Intel specifically, though, coming up. Tesla with another recall. Can it bounce after hitting levels we haven't seen since May yesterday, down more than 12% for Tesla yesterday. EVs in general, though, a little bit stronger today. It's Friday, January 26, 2024. Tradertv.live starts now. Decent move in the dollar. That's the DXY right now. Initially downside coming off that PCE print, but we are trying to get back to the high side as well. Just seeing some of the yields moving back higher. 10-year back above that 4.12 area right now. So again, if you're just joining a little late there and missed it, 2.6 in line with expectations of 2.6 for December. PCE, the headline number, the core number, 2.9. Finally, a 2 handle on this number versus 3 expectations. So moving in the right direction. Remember, this is the one that's the Fed, or Fed Chair Powell at least, prefers to have a look at. We'll dig into this and see. They do give a breakdown of individual parts of this number coming up. Remember last time it was energy that seemed to be the sticking point and was still higher than everyone was expecting, where basically everything else was down a bit. So good look though.
Yeah, definitely interesting coming into that 2 handle. Like you said, obviously their preferred inflation rate is 2%. That's the goal, and they won't bend on that. He's been asked that many times. I'm talking about Jerome Powell. We'll have to see how shelter inflation does as well, because that's also been another sticking point. But good look. Let's see if the market likes it. Right now, it's kind of going down.
Just seeing, there's a brief breakdown that just popped up in front of me there. Yeah, I mean, it's if you take out food and energy, it's in line essentially with expectations, 0.2%, or slightly better, 0.2%. PCE overall, 0.2% on the month-over-month basis. So finally, guys, a PCE number better than expected here.
Yeah, tell that to the market right now. I mean, like, see, Fabian, you got to have... We got to do that test in the beginning, man. It's all about the earnings last night. We had that poll up. Actually, you know what? We had the poll up yesterday. It was like, which earnings are going to be the biggest? It was like WDC, Intel, Visa, and T-Mobile.
T-Mobile.
Literally all of them were down after market. Like and Visa wasn't even a bad
it was going to be the
report.
biggest, most volatile.
Yeah, it was the most volatile, but it was like, I think a lot of people were thinking upside. But Intel ended up being the most volatile. That was the answer to the question. I thought WDC might be, but it was Intel. But all to the downside, and the market's headed back down. So it's been one of those early mornings. It's 0.5% to the downside. You're not really through big support levels or anything on the NASDAQ. It's like the feel, I suppose, coming in after yesterday was a Tesla Huadunk, which really most of the market just said, who cares? And the Mag 7 was all going upside. Tech was looking pretty strong outside of EVs. And then right around, you had the Apple news in the afternoon at 1 o'clock, and then everything started tanking. Then you get overnight, Intel, bad guidance, and then a couple of other earnings reactions, red. It does feel a little bit heavier this morning. Not that I'm wearing red for any reason in particular. But yeah, it's feeling a little bit more heavy today. Like we said, Apple's going to be in watch, no question about it. The EVs are back in play. Oddly enough, maybe a bit of a bounce play in a couple of them. And the chips, no ignoring it. But the good news is Bitcoin bounced out of that 40,000.
Yeah, big time.
So some of the crypto names, looking at Mara, have a chance for long today.
Yeah, we just put a poll up here. Only 137 votes. Go get it right now. Probably going to change now that we've had this PCE number. But will the NASDAQ be green or red today? Right now we are looking at a red number. I put this out as we were still down about 0.3, and now we're starting to head to the downside again right now. So, you know, pay attention to that. I retweeted our nice little tab here, so that's nice. Go find it. BTC, Mara, Tesla, Apple, all going to be on watch again. And I know people are already harassing me for the sticky note. It will be out momentarily. Just got to work on it. I am not looking at Mobileye right now. Tesla right here, we're looking at that, but that's already off to the races. Good buy yesterday. We bought that 180. That was our last fill. And now you're at 185, start to go back up to the upside. So yeah, Tesla's starting to work out. Oh man, look at all these wicks up here. Oh my God, I'm gonna have to edit all those. But yeah, go find that poll. Let me think, let me know what you think. The PCE number not, you know, not giving us too much direction. I feel like we're back looking at earnings right now, and as Neil mentioned, those big 4 ones all missed. So we are starting to go back down to the downside. PC 2.9 versus 3. I mean, I'm pretty comfortable with that. I don't think Fed changes too much there. We'll look at the Fed rate tool as well. What was that at now, Brendan, for?
Well, it was 40.
For January, it was below 50%. We're at 43% or so. There it is. Oh, look at that. All right, so there we are. So we are right at that spot. So this is going to be one of the very first times in a long time that we've had some indecision.
Yes.
Oh, that's May. Okay, so what? Let's see the next one. I want to see January if we can.
Oh, March.
Nothing. March. Yeah, it's March.
That's the one.
So January we know is nothing. It's March. So see where we're talking about? So right now you're starting to head into some indecisive Fed where you're going to finally get the market offside a little bit as to what happens.
I'm saying it's a coin flip.
Oh, it's a coin flip. I thought you were looking for the AAPL.
No, I was like, oh, you could flip a coin.
Yeah.
And then we can decide whether or not.
I mean, that will change once we get, of course, closer to the number. But the last couple ones, just like the one in January, it's been known.
Well,
so I'm hoping we can head into March and May with undecisiveness, and that will start some crazy volatility. So.
It's great for trading. I think it's anyone that's traded for a while, indecision around the Fed. Maybe the markets don't always like that, but traders love it.
Yeah, I mean, we were just saying, you know, if it ends up being a month later than everyone anticipated it being, is that really that big of a deal? So yeah, better part of 90% chance of a cut now for May. March, as the guys were saying, a coin flip at this point. So yeah, it's the first time since all of this started that we now have a 2 handle on this core number specifically for PCE, which is great to see.
Yeah, not a moment too soon. I mean, at least on this side of the border anyway, we've been really struggling with food inflation and shelter inflation. Energy's really come down a bit, especially with respect to gas. I'm not really sure exactly how that's faring on the west coast of the United States. I know a lot of the southern states have below average gas at the moment. We'll have to wait and see. I mean, 9:30 is going to be the important part for me. I mean, right now we're on low volume. Let's see what the opening bell brings, Brendo.
I was just seeing this. This is the dollar right now. So this move back higher, extending for the DXY. That's a short-term time frame. If I zoom out a little bit, you get a better idea of what's happening coming off some support from earlier in the week here. That's a 15-minute chart, so nice move up. But yeah, yields across the board back to the upside as well. We did get a consumer spending number there at 8:30 as well that was higher than expected, 0.7% I think it was versus 0.4% on a month-over-month basis. Perfect segue to go to LVMH. I think a lot of people, they were up huge. LVMH over in Europe this morning off a better than expected report. So we'll talk about Visa and Amex coming up here as well. But yeah, people still spending money.
Yeah, well, LVMH continuing to do well, even though there was a significant drop in demand for luxury goods in 2023, but the forecast reflected that. So beating expectations is LVMH. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But American Express and Visa also reporting. American Express this morning, Visa yesterday, and two completely different reports. You can tell that the more wealthier consumer, which tends to side with American Express or have American Express credit cards, is not really feeling the crunch of interest rates, where that wasn't reflected with Visa. Visa saw a significant drop in spending in January. So we'll have to wait and see how that does. We've been hearing about all record highs for consumer debt, for credit card debt. So it looks like it's affecting two different segments of the economy differently, Brendo.
Yeah. Here's that number I was mentioning, 0.7% here for personal spending month over month versus 0.4 expected there. So a few of these heading in different directions today.
Yeah, look, obviously there is that difference between AXP and Visa. Visa still, I don't know that it deserved to be 3% down. When I was looking at it, I couldn't really. I understand like you did have some slow, but anyways, American Express is the one that's breaking out. AXP here, when we talk about on earnings or just in general, a lot of times you want stocks trading in new price areas and all that good stuff, and that's exactly what you're getting here with the break of this top at the 190 level. I don't know how much volume this is going to do today. I can tell you that it's not done a lot already. So the majority of this pullback into 900 has been on very light volume. Like as I'm looking at the level 2, there hasn't even been a print that's not a sub 100 lot in the last few minutes. So this is more like a wait and see at the open, I would suppose. Like if it holds the 190, maybe there's something there. I don't wonder if Visa can't do some kind of relief rally. But expensive stock. I'm missing a little bit of data there. But I look back and it's like, okay, well, if it was at 255, that'd be a bit easier. You pop the 15-minute up and say, okay, well, it's pretty much at the level that you'd be expecting bounces first, which is like the 62.5. So I think both of these could be interesting after the first half an hour. More along the lines of AAL. Like if you're not sitting there at the open trading this on earnings, if it starts bouncing off your key price, or in AXP's case, continuing the breakout above that 180, then you can just look for a trend long. But I feel Visa got a little bit punished too much, and sometimes that happens when you're up at the top. When stocks are just making fresh highs and they report, it needs to be perfect. Ask Intel how that's going.
Intel. Yeah, we'll talk about Intel a lot today. Trust me on that one. Crypto's still holding that 41. We have 41 at the bottom here for Bitcoin. If you're looking for that, we'll have it at the bottom of the screen there. Look, Visa is falling into the 50-period moving average. I really like the name. I feel like if you're not in this, which I'm not, I don't own any Visa shares. I just think consumers are super strong. Employment, still pretty much full employment. PCE, right where it needs to be. People happy, housing prices continue to be solid and holding their values. People are employed. You know, we started with that argument with full employment. So people will spend. And as people get raises, as people, are confident in their ability to pay their bills, then Visa continues to get money spent on it. So I like it. People continue to travel, putting expenditures on there. I think it works. I think this might be a gift coming back in. I don't think we're ready to buy the market down here, but this is going to be definitely a name that I feel like you need to look at. Visa, MasterCard, AXP. I mean, do your due diligence on all those. Visa just came out, and I think you're getting a little bit of a haircut here. So 3% I feel like is worth a buy, especially if you're trying to diversify.
All right, I did notice Bitcoin moving around here as well, as you guys were mentioning, off of that 830 number there. Right back to a very, very significant level, though, 41,250. Back above 41, though. Nice move on the 24-hour chart. If you zoom in, though, we did get a little bit of a dip there on that number. Coinbase back higher significantly this morning. There was this one as well, CRBP. I saw a couple of people talking about in the chat. We'll get to that in a sec, but positive note on coin today.
Yeah, analyst Oppenheimer analyst Owen Lau commenting positively on Coinbase, actually maintaining the price target to 160, but upgrading it from perform to outperform. So I'm not really sure what the point of this is, but yeah, Coinbase up decisively on the day, over 5%. So are the mining names, Brendo, Mara, Riot, CLSK, they're all up.
That CRBP was a positive cancer result, or a trial that they're working on something for a cancer treatment. So better than expected data coming from that.
And a small float for that. It's a 4.4 million float for Corbus Pharmaceutical Holdings, which I just read off my trade ideas up there, because that's, look, for a lot of these small caps, let's be real for a second. When they pop up on your scanner, let's not pretend that we know all of these symbols. So pharma company, 4.4 float. The short float's only about 1% there. Not really, there's no key levels on that one, but I think okay. There's no real key levels when you pop up the daily chart because it's in uncharted territories, at least recently. But going back over to crypto, the bounce was pretty decent off of that 40,000. Well, it's pretty decent right now. And obviously you can see it kind of going sideways here after retaking that 40,000. This is a 3-minute chart, but I did want to go to something a little bit higher time frame. So like when you look at it on the 4 hours, it's not as if it's really breaking out of that sell the news on the ETF downward trend. You probably need to put in at least put another higher low in there, and then you could say that. But I think that's my litmus test. If we're holding 40,000, better yet, if we're breaking 42, I think I want to look at one of the short float type names like Amara. I know Coinbase got a good note by Oppenheimer, but Mara's got this nice little roundy face thing happening. And we're going to talk with Michael Noss, so why not look at the roundy face? 17, you're now above that. I think this one can go. It's just a matter of keeping your eye on BTC. If it holds that higher low, starts legging up, I like the fact that Mara with its short flow can give you a little bit more of an outside move. Already gapped up 6% here.
Yeah, I really like, we just have the sticky is out right now, and today we have on it Coinbase, and it's the #1 idea, and it's a long on Coinbase. So we're gonna bust that through to 128.50. I really like it. We talked about it. Go find it. It's right here. Nice upgrade. Bitcoin, BTC starting to hold above 40K. We have that down here. We already called the top there of Coinbase up here, talking about shorting into 180, down into 130. We got a little further than I thought it would go, but now it's time to get back up to the upside. Look at this. We could take out 130 today. Coinbase loves to go, and today it can. There it is right there, 128.50, these tops. You could wait for 129, then play it back to 128. Please do not give this name just 50 cents. The spread could be 30 or 40 cents. If you're gonna go long with me on this name, you're gonna have to give it at least $1, maybe $2. So trade accordingly, but I'll be here with that trade for sure on Coinbase. I may even take it in the pre-market, so we'll see what happens with that, but liquidity will be tight. Let me just check the level 2 here on Coinbase in the pre-market. So actually it's not so bad, it's 20 cents, but the problem is if I trigger breaking 128.50, then I might wind up getting like 128.70, or if the spread holds, then where do you give it back down that $2, and then the spread opens up again, you're probably at 250. So anyways, nice little move. We wrote the sticky note when we were down here at 126. We should have just gone long when that was happening, but it's a nice move up on Coinbase. I know Mr. Michael Noss likes Mara, Coinbase, and he knows a little something about crypto as well.
It's true.
And Michael joins me every Monday on the recap show. So some ideas he had there, and we'll probably talk about those again. We'll recap those maybe on Monday. But right now, let's see what ideas he has for today.
Just reading this downgrade note came through from Edward Jones on Tesla here as well, so possibly more downside. We're going to touch on with Mr. Noss, happy Friday, some downside possibilities to come here. I mean, I feel like we keep talking in this direction, Mr. Noss, but the market just marches on higher. Tell us what we need to know here.
Yeah, and this is it's kind of the funny work, I guess, of a technician is thankfully when we were selling in October, I was here giving some evidence about why we should get long around that level. And then I've been long. So a lot of what I'm doing, just to kind of put my bias right out on the table, is looking for a reason to not get long or to add some shorts or to do something. As a swing trader and a longer term trader, there are a lot of these periods where all you're doing is you're opening up your account, you're making sure everything that you have is working, and you're looking for potentially what could cause some problems ahead. And I have some things that kind of have me nervous, and we have to see how they play out. Certainly not going to come in here and call a top on this bull market or anything, but it's something that may give us a little bit of a pause. So the first chart I have here is just of the SPY. Getting stuff on my desk here. And we have a bearish RSI divergence. So just a little bit of a lesson, I guess, on this. I know I've talked about it before, but you guys have a lot of new and beautiful listeners that I think might have some advantage listening to this. And it's essentially just an RSI is a momentum indicator, simply put. It's how much momentum is behind a move. And when you have a stock or in this case, all of the stocks making a higher high, and the momentum indicator, the RSI, is not making a higher high, that's in technical analysis what we call an RSI divergence, and can often be a little bit of a warning sign because it means the momentum required, the momentum of the bulls to make this higher high wasn't as strong as before. So there's a little bit of dying off. It could also mean that there's really not that much selling resistance at this level, but often these things can kind of be a precursor to some sort of a rest or some sort of a down move. So that's one thing that has me a little nervous. The next one here is a chart of the UDSU. You can also use UUP. These are just dollar ETFs. And for a very long time, I talked about how I was, bullish in October and buying that pullback. You can see this on this weekly chart. That was the top of the dollar. So the dollar and equities, at least for the last few years, has had this incredibly strong negative correlation. Dollar goes up, that puts pressure on equities. Dollar comes down, equities go up. And you can see a very strong support level here on where we are in the dollar index. I've looked at this a number of different ways because there's a lot of ways you can express this. I've gone over to the Dixie and the futures, and I've gone to looking at the individual currencies. But basically, every dollar type thing is on some level of support or resistance, which again, if we can't break through quickly, just makes it a little bit of overhead supply potentially for stocks. Last chart I have here, just for bringing my case, is a potential, and still only a potential, failed breakout in IWM. So I talked about this a little bit on Monday, that we were lagging a little bit behind in IWM and MDY and a lot of these other ETFs that aren't really weighted to the Magnificent Seven, I guess the kids are calling it now. We had a little bit of breakout of the 200 level of the IWM. We fell below it, and now we are trading below that. If we fail here, then that technically could be a failed breakout. Last time the IWM had a failed breakout this significant was way back at the top of 2021. Again, I'm not calling for anything like that, but just some signs that the market may need to pause and may need to digest some information here. And if that's going to be the case, I want to add some shorts to my portfolio. In case I'm wrong, I'm only going to take a small hit on these if I do execute on them. And I don't think we're in the top of, that the bull market is over or anything like that. So these are just some more tactical shorts for potentially a little bit of an income or a little bit of a hedge. So I've got some names from trade ideas. First one is CAR. All of these have come from one of my favorite short scanners in trade ideas, which is an anchored VWAP short. Now, so the line that you're seeing on the right hand of the chart here, I should have done a better job zooming in, but is just an anchored VWAP. But I wanted to show this entire chart because this massive support level sitting around 160 on Avis budget, so CAR, we're bouncing into the anchored VWAP from that prior high. So if we fail there, that might be a good place to take a shot. But ultimately, this level at 160 or so is the level I want to see us break through fairly quickly. We have earnings in February 12th, so a little bit of time towards that. Next here is Dino. Same thing. This is, I think I was talking with Neil actually one of the times, and we were talking about how much for short trades we love flat bottom breaks. So this is another one that potentially could have this flat bottom break, a little bit of a bounce, a little bit of a doji here. You'll notice that these charts don't look like the SPY. They're not hitting all-time highs. They still have a lot of overhead resistance. And I'm looking at these kind of flat bottom breaks if we can get through. That level sits around $51, $52 on Dino. Last but not least is Yelp. Actually, I was long Yelp a little bit ago on this breakout, got a couple of good days out of it, but then you can see the breakout failed. So this looks a little bit to me like that IWM chart where we're sitting under that area of, 45 to 47 where we broke out and failed from. So there could be a lot of buyers that are trapped in that area looking to sell. If Yelp turns lower here, that's going to be a short on that one. So again, these are just tactical trades to potentially hedge if I'm right and the market needs to pull back a little bit here, or maybe they'll go counter to the market.
Yeah, and worth reiterating that point. We're not saying, hey, everybody just go short right now. This is the top, the market, the rally's over. It's just if, again, something indicates that we are going to have a brief pause, as you said, or a pullback, then it's good to have some ideas either direction. Fantastic stuff, as always. Michael Noss, CMT over at Trade Ideas. Have a wonderful weekend, sir. We'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Thank you very much, Michael, as always. And hey, we do like those flat bottom breaks. No questions asked. The thing about like a flat top break or flat bottom break, it's not like, it's fine. It's just that you can't miss the level. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you look at a support and resistance, like, I kind of see it there. The whole point about a flat top or a flat bottom break, it is just blindly obvious. Speaking of things breaking to the downside, Spirit Airlines here, there was a note, I posted in the chat a couple times here, so JetBlue essentially saying the deal could be terminable by the 28th of January, which is obviously Sunday, and SAVE is now down 15% on that. So it did make it's not really a flat bottom break because it's not that clear, but SAVE to the downside pretty precipitously here. I just paid for some locates on the off chance that we get an opportunity. Previous support was at about 650, so I'd look at that spot to try to grab maybe a short. If I can see it start to curl there, I'd go for that. Our locates were really cheap. Like, we do have to pay for shorts here on Spirit Airlines at Day Trade the World, but it's 1/8 of 1 cent, which is essentially free for us here to trade DTTW.
I think it's interesting to hear a little bit of what Michael was talking about there with possibly positioning yourself to get some short exposure. So I feel like you want to hit some of those scanners. The Anchor VWAP's definitely a good one to use there. And then have your stops. I mean, that's the one thing that we have here as traders, and obviously Michael does as well, so you don't get blown out if you are wrong. I tend to agree with him. I think that earnings are just so, they're just around the corner, but they're such a volatile, and everything's priced to perfection. We even saw some of the banks pull back a little bit and then start to rip again. So I feel like we could get, like Intel's happening today, you're down 10%. Just what if that does happen to NVIDIA or AMD? I just feel like you're just gonna get such a down push in the market that you still wanna stay net long, that's fine, but look for some possible short ideas in there in case something like that does happen where earnings don't meet expectations. That's really what we're looking for right now. We have the price of these stocks based on earnings. Right now, the earning multiple is really high in the S&P, so it's gonna have to meet those expectations, and they will meet those expectations, but what if they don't? So I think there's nothing wrong with being a little bit conservative here with today's market.
Interesting take on this, as far as what this article is suggesting, in the sense that even though the deal was blocked, the fact that there would have been a breakup fee going from JetBlue over to save the negative here.
Yeah, I don't recall exactly what the fee was, but essentially for the fee to be paid out, the merger agreement has to be met. And what JetBlue is saying is that the terms of the merger agreement haven't been met, therefore taking them off the hook for that breakup fee. Obviously, that then affects the balance sheet of Spirit Airlines because they were anticipating of receiving several $1 billion. So we'll have to wait and see how it is right now, but it's down 14% as we speak.
All right. A lot of the analyst moves that are out this morning are going to be surrounding the earnings names. So Visa, I saw, had a couple. Intel has a ton. Both directions. There was that Edward Jones note on Tesla that just came through. Maybe thoughts on Tesla here coming off what happened yesterday. 12% move to the downside, going back to May levels once again. See what happens today.
Yeah, what really stood out to me this morning was Wedbush's comment on Tesla and a price target increase. That's after Dan Ives came out yesterday and really, had negative comments to say about the earnings call with Elon and the earnings in general. So we'll have to wait and see. But Tesla ended up holding that 180 level quite well, right? Yesterday, it's up 1.5% today, Brenda. We'll have to wait and see how they do.
This was kind of positive, I guess. I don't remember or recall, anyways, off the top of my head, what the suggested range was going to be for this, but PepsiCo coming out saying that their Tesla Semi surpassed 1,000 miles in a single day. That's not bad.
Not at all. What's weird is that there's this weird habit that happens, and this is, as I'm typing in, I know we're going to talk about Tesla, right? So I was about to type in Tesla, and then of course you heard Brendan say the word Pepsi. So as I'm typing in level 2, you hear one thing, you type another. I actually typed in Pepsi. And then the first thing I noticed was, hey, that could be an interesting depressed buy. But look, everyone knows what happened to Tesla yesterday. It's up 1.5%, but remember, that's a drop in the bucket compared to the 12 change it was down in yesterday's trade, post that earnings miss, and then the call, which it wasn't like it was doom and gloom, but it wasn't necessarily positive at all. So you got the bounce off 180. I think the way I approach today is, okay, you've made a bit of a base. Clearly there were buyers yesterday. We're probably going to hear about a few names that were buying yesterday, but either way, it culminated in that 180 level. I still think trend bottom is in play. Not necessarily today, but the trend bottom it's a little closer to 165 than it was 170 when we're up top, so I still think you can get down there. I know I want to be a buyer and add somewhere underneath the 180 level, but for the day trade, you're bouncing off 180. There is this, sorry about the wicks here, there's this little peak here about 186.5. So I'm looking 187. If you don't clear that, I think you're still looking some fade trades. But the undercover one for me is going to be Rivian. And we're talking about Rivian just holding the line at 15 and 15.10 all afternoon looking for a break. It was just bouncing off 15 and couldn't break 15.10. For the entirety of it felt like the whole afternoon show for us, which it pretty much was. And then now you're baselining in front of it again. This, it feels like a wipeout bottom. Like as Tesla kept going lower, that made its bottom at 11 o'clock and got right back up to the top. I feel like this could have a relief rally on it in Rivian. Obviously, it's got a bigger short interest and all that good stuff. So if it holds on to 15 at the open, I am looking for a bit of a rip here on Rivian. We're back to square one if it fails 15, though.
I mean, I definitely like that look on Rivian because Tesla, unfortunately, our chart looks like crap here. But hold on a second. I'll just pull down another chart right here. So here's a 5-minute chart from eSignal. Like yesterday, there's that bounce at 180. It happened twice. I feel like obviously we had a great short. We took about $15 on Tesla yesterday. We had the short up here at 192, and then there's that bounce at 180. Now you're starting to get back up to the upside. So this blue line is just VWAP where we are right now, 184.75. And that's a 200 period, which that's at 190 or so, right back into that area. I want to go long. I just want to play the dips. So Tesla down here at 183, 184, I feel like is where we want to start to try it. But we're definitely going to take a swing down here at 180. It's on the sticky note. It's the number 2 name. And I think you want to give this a couple dollars of room. I bought yesterday right here at 186. We talked about that on the show. Well, not right here. Now it's at 186 now. Okay, so we bought here. I feel like we want to buy a little bit more and add to this position. I still like Tesla. I like this story. But yeah, you're right, man. You're getting that haircut pulled back in again. Yesterday was down 12%, as Brendan mentioned. Obviously, these are pivot points up here. They're nowhere near that.
I was going to ask.
Yeah, those are just support. So resistance 1, support, and then pivot. But today, they'll have new ones once the day opens up. But for right now, 180, I love that bottom on Tesla. And I think you go bottom picking. And honestly, I really like that Rivian take as well. I mean, I feel like that got beat up. And you battled back down. It went to, what, 1460 yesterday or something ridiculous? So, yeah, and now you're back above 15. Maybe all is well again in EV space.
Well,
not.
Probably not.
All right, let's get a look at the overall market here as we head towards the open. Shreve's going to kick things off with a look at the futures.
49.23, guys. That's where we closed out yesterday, and we're just a little bit below that. We're actually at it right now. So let's go ahead and say 4,900 for support. We've been holding that for multiple days, going back to essentially January 23rd when we broke through 4,900. Yesterday and the day prior, we topped out at 49 and a third, that 49.33 area. Let's see if we can get past that 49 and a third. If we do, let's look at that 50-point level, Brendo.
Let's get into everything else you need to know here as we head towards the open. Make sure you grab that. Absolutely free for you every day. Watchlist.tradertv.live will get you there. Scan that QR code and then enter your email address. You get it from us, as I mentioned, for free. Shout out to Benzinga Pro. If you want a 50% discount off Benzinga, it's in the description right now. Hit that link and that can be yours as well. There's all the numbers as they came in after 4 o'clock last night. And then, as I was mentioning, a lot of the analyst moves this morning are going to be surrounding these earnings names once again. There are a few either direction, really, for Intel, if you look at the actual price movement on what they're talking about. But the report is what it was.
Yeah, Brendan, look, they beat on the top and bottom line. That was not the issue there. The problem was the guide. They're guiding between 12.2 to about 13.2 billion for Q1 earnings. The street was looking for 14.15, so a significant variance there. Basically, what they're saying is, look, we still have a nascent foundry business. We're investing a lot of money to build out these foundries all over the world, Europe, North America, yet they're only growing, very small. They're only generating about $291 million from their foundry business. So the shift in the company's focus continues to take place, and we'll have to see what 2024 brings.
Got to go back to early December levels to find some support here this morning. But decent level, 44 is, guys, for Intel.
Yeah, so a couple of things to keep in mind. TSM dominates the foundry business, and 300 million or 290 million is not a lot for Intel. But the year-over-year growth in the foundry is 60-something%. So it is growing, but it's going to take some time for them to play some catch up. And while that's happening, they still have, the core businesses, which, by the way, Intel does have a tendency to guide conservatively. But when you're guiding anywhere from 10 to 17% lower than the expectations, you're going to get your butt kicked when you're up near those highs. So today it is going to. Okay, it's probably going to open down around 10%. Whether or not it will actually be SSR at the open, it's kind of back and forth. But the previous trend line that it broke out from, going back into November and then bounced off it in December, that was the bottom in the aftermarket. So kind of leave these in here because it had, like Micron, this had a year-long trend holding higher highs and higher lows that eventually broke out late in the year last year. And so the fact that it wants to bounce off that bottom at 43, I'm just going to say, okay, 43 is going to be my line for Intel today. Because if it goes SSR, it's up 44.5 right now. If it goes 10% down and I'm looking for a short sell restricted bounce, well, I've got a nice trend line and even $43 that it already bounced off once. So I'd look for longs somewhere in front there if it gets down to that price. The name that I don't think there's much of a chance. Maybe it happens. I think you could get a relief rally breaking up, but I'd rather not buy 45s. But one name that if it goes to the upside, I would want to fade is the aforementioned Micron. So Micron looks really strong. Look at the top, holds the top, hasn't even broken support. Everything about it looks really strong. But it's at the top of its trend line. Look at that triple top at 90. It has held this for a year. So very similar trend line. I get it. If it breaks 90, you probably want to look. If it closes above 90 on a weekly, you probably want to look for a breakout long on the stock. But given the fact that you just had this earnings warning from Intel, I want to short pops into that level, whether it's at 89, that lower high, or it's at 90 itself, maybe somewhere in the 88 change. I'm just going to be looking to short pops. The big levels are obvious. If it gets to 90, that's kind of, it writes itself, and the same thing with the previous close. Those write themselves. But when I look at it on the daily chart, I'd rather fight that one and look for the short there than try to guess where I'd short a pop in Intel. We're not gonna see, I don't think, 48 or 50 on Intel, the really big levels that I really like. So I think you could see it at least in Micron.
Yeah, I think that's that Micron look is great. That was 52-week highs yesterday at $90. Yeah. It touched it and fell. So that's a good look. So now Micron is also on my radar. So I think that's a fantastic look there. Yesterday we really paid the piper short here on AMD until finally we got this back in. Still a red name for us yesterday, despite having such a monster move back in, because we just were shorting when we shouldn't have been all the way up here. We know that this name has crazy gas, you know, once it gets going, it's like crazy nitro boosts. Like it'll just go, look at it, like this is crazy. 181.50, and then this minutes up to 183.50, and then it stalls out, and then it just blasts up again to 185. So it has these moments, but we saw what else it can do, right? It can really get hammered down. Some guy named Josh Brown apparently came out and was like, nah, I'm selling some Intel. I mean, he was a day late on that call there. We already made that the other day, but there it is, a nice little move to the downside. I think we fade it continuously again until we're wrong again. And then we'll punch out, but this time we'll be a little bit more reasonable with our revenge trading. This is 178 right there. So right now you're at 176.50. I feel like we wait for 178, okay? Let's try to be patient. If it starts ripping, we'll start shorting at 178. Then we can use this 179 as our final destination. Then we'll take a dollar hit. If we have a couple hundred shares, 100 shares, 50 shares, whatever the amount of shares you have a defined risk, then we will stop. Then we will wait for it to baseline up in and around here, 181, 180. Then it's hammer time, and then we will hit it to the downside again, and we'll hit it pretty strong. But at the same time, we do want to make sure, this is talking about Intel, we want to make sure that Intel is doing what we think. If this is ripping all the way back to the upside, then obviously people will come in and buy AMD and NVIDIA, right? So they all have to be sort of in sync today. This is going to be an Intel problem, that's fine. I'm fine with that. NVIDIA's not even moving on this. NVIDIA's like, Intel, never heard of them. You know, so we're going to have to wait to see what the reaction is. But yesterday, AMD showed its true colors, and we know it can fall down. And today they're punishing AMD again, down 2%. So for me, you know, on no news, only on Intel, AMD's downside, I feel like there's more pain coming in this name, but I do like Micron better as a setup.
I had to bite my tongue. You went Final Destination. I could have made a movie reference for that.
Yeah, I never watched that.
There's like 7 of them, and then the first one's okay. Then you went like, it's gonna be me. I'm like, okay, well, there's NSYNC, and then you said True Colors. I'm like, you can make a Madonna thing out of that one.
Very cultured.
Like it was all of, that's not culture. That's all old stuff. But
yeah.
Was it, oh, it's Cyndi Lauper, not Madonna. Thank Fabian correcting me when Fabian is half my age. And I should really, you weren't even alive when Cyndi Lauper was making music, Fabian. That's incredible. But the point about AMD, I just reminded myself that 181 level, that was the one in the morning. If we get to 181, and if you remember, the long off 180, and maybe this is even better. I'm going to save this so it doesn't go away. But if you remember in the morning, there was a bounce off 180. There you go. Oh, that wick. The bounce off 180. Was pretty decent, and it got that 181, like right here. It couldn't hold that 181, and then when you came back into this level at 181 and that higher low, it was just like, okay, that's the spot. And then in the afternoon, all the resistance that was there. So like clearly there was a lot of transacting at that level from the initial hold at the open, which you guys can't see. There you go. The initial hold at the open. To this, like the bounce off 180, the first one that failed 181, to then being support, to then being resistance. If I see 181 today, that's a go zone. But if it gets to that price, I'm almost certain I'm already in a Micron short. Almost no questions asked, because I don't see, like the AMD's not going to get green and then go green half a percent without Micron being a short already for him. But I like that 181. I'm going to mark it off as well.
Friday. Let's talk about Bitcoin. Back to the upside here. I was just noticing some of the yields reversing, some of the currencies reversing as well from what we saw earlier. But Bitcoin holding in quite nicely here, back to that 41.2 area, which was a bit of a support level on the way back down after it topped out going back to early on this morning. That's a 15-minute chart, by the way, so a little bit of a bounce underway for Bitcoin right now.
Yeah, a couple of positive headlines for crypto this morning, Brendo. With respect to Coinbase, Oppenheimer upgrading the stock from perform to outperform, but maintaining that 160 price target. Separately, with respect to Hut 8, the mining name, the Canadian mining name there, their chief commercial officer, Matt Prusak, is leaving as part of a planned transition to Celsius Bitcoin mining company. That is up well on the day today, well over 7%.
Any trade plans or ideas, guys?
Yeah,
well, I think we spilled the beans when Well, we go over these things multiple times, and when we open, we're talking about Bitcoin and 40,000. So Sean likes coin. I mean, you got to watch Bitcoin anyways, as long as we're holding 40,000 or higher lows. I kind of like Mara, 20.5% short interest. I mean, depending on what estimate you want to look at, it's still pretty significant. Held like it came all the way from one consolidation level right back to the same consolidation level, and now trying to break out. So the $18 is about the 50 period on the daily. I don't know how much that's going to matter on a daily today with its short interest. I just like the way that it consolidated down here. So you had the wipeout bottom, then you held the more or less the same higher low at 15.5. This is the day that you're breaking out of the top of that range at 17. As long as 17 is on the bid, I want to be looking longs off the open. Preferably not have to wait for an $18 breakout. So I want to look for the longs off this 17. If it ends up breaking out the pre-market highs and there wasn't an entry down there, probably have to work into that one. But all the while, as I said, keeping an eye on, now these days you don't actually have to have spot BTC up. You can actually just throw up one of the ETFs if you want and track it that way. I still have my Binance chart, not Binance, I still have my trading view chart with spot Bitcoin prices, but you could have like GBTC up, or you could have the BlackRock ETF just to keep track. Everything would change if we cratered like 1,000. What are we at now? 41.1.
Yeah.
Like if we crater 1,100 or breaking 40,000, I might not be as eager to be sitting on the bid of Mara in front of 17 if that's happening. But right now, we're holding those gains.
Yeah, I think that's why you want to watch crypto. You only really need to watch Bitcoin. I mean, if you're going to watch Coinbase or Mara or anything like that, it's just going to kind of go with the momentum here of crypto. And right now, it's really nice, man. 41,000, 41.13. We like it. It is making that move higher here for BTC. So, and again, you can, like we just talked about it. I don't know. I think IBIT will probably be the one that winds up getting. IBIT, not IBIO. That's another name that we look at. That's at $1, by the way. I feel like this name will get a lot of love here. You can see we're already starting to get back up to the upside, the 50-period moving average. Obviously, we don't have 50 periods here, but you are at $24. That's going to be a decent level. Crypto fell down 20%, or Bitcoin fell 20% on the release of that ETF, right, or all the ETFs. So, we've talked about that. Thank you so much, Rob. We'll talk about it again tonight on the podcast. Make sure you check that out tomorrow morning. But actually, instead of even watching Bitcoin, you could just watch the Bitcoin ETFs. Yeah. So if you're finding like this is a little too hard to watch, because you're going to go from like 41,150, 41,180, 41,2, 41,210. Like if you're just going to try to count pennies instead of like hundreds of dollars, you could actually track an ETF now. Which is awesome. So I think that's a great opportunity. And then just to trade something that's not Bitcoin, but will go, I like this Coinbase level. We talked about this right here at 128.50. So there's the level right there. I like it. I mean, to be a little more conservative, 130 would be a better break. Coinbase only being up 5%, it can get up a hell of a lot more than that. We've seen this name rip and run again as well. And I still think we're in the teens. All right, so it's a little bit lower now, only 11% short. So still enough reason for it to go. I like Coinbase breaking 128.50.
We're just talking about Tesla's Optimus now folding laundry.
Yeah, love that.
25 grand, I'm in. Sign me up. Elon had a bad day yesterday, but something tells me no one's going to feel sorry for him. 198 billion net worth at the close as of yesterday. I was just reading down here. He still has Jeff Bezos easily handled, though. 183 billion for Mr. Bezos versus Elon. But it's, we were talking about it earlier, the LVMH guy that's still number
Bernard
one.
Arnault, yeah.
Number one on the richest list. But yeah, nice bounce here today.
Yeah, a couple of comments today on Tesla, mostly negative, sadly. Edward Jones downgrading Tesla from a buy to hold. Likewise, Deutsche Bank cutting Tesla's price target from 260 to 250. And then this headline, which always makes me chuckle a little bit, Tesla recalls nearly 200,000 vehicles to fix rear view issue amid earnings dip. So apparently my phone had a recall yesterday because I had to upgrade that as well. Guys, let's stop calling this a recall. It's a software update. Let's move on.
Or they just need to start putting like quotations around recall in those headlines. That would be better.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they could. It doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, it was a lot of going into this report. Like, how many times did you hear, like, all we were doing for the last probably 2 months, and maybe not as so much with Tesla, but for pretty much every single EV name, was just showing you how nasty the charts were looking and that the EVs are in trouble. And when everyone tempered their expectations when it came to rate cuts, that sort of spelled a nastier turn for some of the EV names. Then you get the miss by Tesla and the reaction. I'm not going to say overreaction, the reaction in the markets. I mean, the prices. The reason you can't say overreaction is because price is never wrong. The stock's going to go where it's going to go, regardless of what I think. Even if I think Tesla's going to be fine in 5 years or 2 years, which I do, it doesn't make a difference. It could easily. I think it's reasonable if it were to be at 170, sometime early next, maybe even not as early as next week. That would not surprise me one bit, and I think that would be fair given what the trend is. All that said, as Sean mentioned, it bounced off that 180 level. It double bottomed that 180 level, and it bounced better the second time than it did the first, which is actually pretty bullish, right? So when you bounce off a level, if you make a higher low after that, that starts a bit of a short-term trend. So off that 180, the only reason I'm not looking for a Tesla long is because I'm looking for something here in Rivian. But just for Tesla, this is about that 186.5 level into 187. I would think that could be the resistance spot for me. I'd look that and I'd look 190. But it was the reaction of Rivian holding above that defined top. So the shorts on Rivian were each time it got to 15, short 15. That was the play in the morning, was just short that level a couple of times, and then it made higher lows, and at the end of the day, it was looking for the breakout. As long as this holds 15, I think I want to be looking for the long. And to top it off, Rivian actually closed literally at $15 even. Like, come on.
We like that.
Like, what are you gonna do? Like, I don't know. Whatever. It's Friday. It's 15. It's an options level. If it holds it, it's got a decent short flow.
Well. Yeah, that's true.
I think it's what's the short flow on Rivian? 22.
I don't think it's that high, is it?
No, sorry, 16%, 15.5%. That's still decent. Like, it's not lucid territory, but it's still pretty decent.
Okay, so this is yesterday's sticky note. We had Tesla short 190. You had to hold that $2 against you to get 10. So that's pretty good. So we'll look today and go up to today's sticky note right now as well. And we kind of have the same kind of thought here, except for it's the other way around. We went long at 180 yesterday because it based down there. And I said, you got to give it some room because we have earnings there. So I said, yesterday we bought 180 at the bottom at the end of the day, and we took $3 on it. I feel like you got to hold it at least $2 against you again. So we'll wait to see if Tesla comes down to 180. I want to make this as simple as possible. There's not too much time left here before the market opens. It's a pretty simple trade. Like I said, we have too many wicks up here to make it look any interesting on the chart, but that's 180 right down there. I think if it comes screaming into that level, which we could easily do, we will buy that and we'll hold it a couple dollars against us, like we just said, because yesterday, maybe the open was, so we got that bump up. There's that short. We had this short. We were short 192 yesterday. So we took the 190 short. We were short in the pre-market, and then you could see it just collapse down in. Breaking that 85 was monstrous, and then bottomed out at almost midday. So we could still continue to flow. I really like the 3-day rule here. I did dip into some Tesla yesterday, but I still think we can get back above 2 bills. You're basically just a couple days away. It might even start to head that way today. I feel like this is a big FOMO name. It's a huge cult stock. People will go in there and buy it on these dips, and I feel like that's what's going to happen. Let's just hope we can get long in the 180 range. We may have to pay more than that. We may have to pay more. But off the open, we'll wait for that level to hit because I don't see any other ones.
I've always wanted to be part of a cult. Yes.
Yeah, I'm part of many.
Boom.
Which ones? I want to know.
Oh. Gotta wait for the podcast, Brendo.
Hit it, hit it, hit it.
Come on, Fabian.
Come on, Fabian.
Go, Fabian.
There
it
you
is.
go. All right. Fail. Let's talk about tech here. Holding up nicely after, I mean, it was relatively strong, I guess, if you zoom out enough. Was Apple. I mean, tech across the board yesterday held up nicely. It was a bit of a small candle, disregard the wicks. Coming back into 194, I was just having a look on a daily chart. Pretty interesting level here for Apple.
Yeah, guys, and interesting news coming out yesterday from the FTC. It looks like there's going to be more investigations here into AI and their use of, their the acquisitions that Microsoft made. Specifically, the FTC is going to be investigating OpenAI, Microsoft, Alphabet, Amazon, and Anthropic to disclose information on recent investments and partnerships involving generative AI. We'll see what comes of that investigation.
Yeah, if the market's going to hold up here and it's kind of leaking off again here, guys, we're going to need these to participate.
So here we go. I want to thank Brankos and Wayne back there. BTSG. Yesterday we had Seagon, and it was a monster IPO. Today we have this one. Big shares coming through, 53 million. We'll find the expected price. Good offer amount. It's going to be a big one. We're going to find out about BTSG today. It's Bright Spring Health Services, and it should be a good one. So we're going to watch out for that. Thank you so much to the guys in the back there. You have to be on top of it. And that's, you know, they're not hiring right now, but when they are, we'll give the details here. And every single day on our floor, they have meetings. They do all this preparation. And that's just another one. And I want to thank Brandon and Wayne for that one. So that's going to be another name to look at. Now I forget the name of it. There it is, BTSG. So this is what it looks like on our, and I'm going to talk about Apple in a minute. This is what it looks like on our system. So it's in halt mode. Once it opens up, we had that indicated price there at 13, indicated price. So we'll find out where that opens up at BTSG. And the reason why we talk about it is this stock was gone yesterday off open, and it might be something you want to look at again here today. It'll be, let me just load this back up. Look at this IPO yesterday. I mean, it's oncology, but this again is another health name. So we're going to find out if it can moon again. And the trade on this is easy. You buy the opening print and you figure out some support and you hope it holds, baby. That's what it's all about. I'm not even gonna break it down any more than that. I could write a book and it would be one page. It might even be one paragraph. So it wouldn't be a book then, I guess. Okay, so it's very, very simple for that one. Look, big tech is strong, but Apple, I think it could be weak again here today. It's had some nice recovery. I still think it's the king, and you might want to stay away from it today because you don't have the relative strength versus weakness argument. If anything, you want to be long Apple today because it's stronger than the market. But I think I'm looking short initially, except for that Tesla level. So we'll find out about if Apple can hold or not. I want to go to a little bit of a bigger time frame again. I apologize for all these wicks on our charts. I scream and cry all the time for these things, and I cry myself to sleep wishing that these would get fixed.
You scream at least.
Yeah, and this 193, that's really the level there if you're looking for it to break something. It goes back a couple days. We've bounced off of it. 193, pretty solid. To short something, I think, yeah, same as yesterday. We shorted this move, but we didn't. We got out when it broke 196. It only went to 196.30. We should have had more patience there. So we're going to have to either play for a top in and around 195 and hope it doesn't go all the way up there, or get aggressive with it and play this break at 193. But we're at 194 now. So, if it wants to follow the market, boom. If not, let's short it a lot higher to that.
Yeah, that 183, 193. We see 183 on Apple. We got problems today. That stock should not drop that much because Apple doesn't. But that 193.
183?
I know. I accidentally.
Oh, yeah.
I accidentally
okay. I didn't know if I said that by accident.
No. 193 is the one, and it's not. It's not a huge flat bottom break, but it's similar to that. Once you have sellers underneath that price on a Friday, I think you run away from it. If it gets up to 196, I think that's a go zone. Almost no questions asked. I just want to very quickly, just because we didn't talk about Netflix at all yesterday, and apologies for that. I don't know if Netflix has a chance to get back down into the bottom it made in the afternoon. But the way that it ran away from that bottom, I think if we do get some kind of a free fall today or a dip in the markets, it is worth watching. It's just underneath that 550 zone. With Netflix, you got to think in $5 ranges. But it's flat today, but remember the work that this stock put in the last hour. It was pretty impressive for Netflix. Why do we only have 5 stocks up there? What are we missing?
I don't know. Let's go back because we only have 2 minutes.
Yeah, just real quick. Deutsche Bank with an upgrade on Snapchat. Testing 17 here. Any thoughts on Snap?
Yeah, Brendo, the analyst here, Benjamin Black from Deutsche Bank, making a couple of comments saying he sees better advertising trends possibly for the company, the continued Snap Plus growth, and its partnership with Amazon benefiting the tech-led company here.
Make sure you go grab this. Take advantage. It's tax season once again. Who is in control of your trader taxes? You or your broker. Learn how thousands of traders manage wash sales and prepare IRS-ready reporting with TradeLog. TradeLog.com/TraderTV. Get you 20% off. TTV20 at checkout, guys. Shout out to TradeLog.
Shout out.
Yes, sir. And there was just, the Snap upgrade there. We got a minute left to go. Here, I'll quickly. Snapchat is not going to trade at $16.20 today. It might. There's a really, really outside chance that it comes down to $16.20, but that's 3 days. 3 days worth of support out of the last 5. So the last week you have held that level. Maybe we get a breakout at 17. If you get down there, you cross that bridge when you get there. We talked about Mara already, so we have Mara coin. We're looking for some bounce plays in the crypto space. I like Rivian if it can hold 15 at the open. Look, dip and rip. My eyes are on Mike. Oh no, no way, Micron. Okay, Micron's already starting to roll over a little bit here, so.
Market's coming back a bit.
Yeah, the market's starting to come back. All right,
Not
let me
enough,
cancel that. I want to go short the pop on Micron. At the time, this would have been somewhere closer to 89. I'm now looking at 88 to 88 and a quarter off that pre-market high, but I want to be south side on Micron. Just looking at what happened with Intel, the setup just looked a little bit better on this particular name, and Intel. And I didn't expect it to be down double digits. I didn't necessarily think it was going to be a great reaction, but that was pretty nasty. It is Friday. Maybe it's Friday, but the NASDAQ's down 4.4% already. Adara in 3, 2, and 1.
Aight,
62 already.
Where's ripping? Okay, we're gonna
No,
watch.
it's not. It just dipped into 62.
Oh, dipped into 62. Okay, we have Coinbase. We're going to watch out for that. We have AMD. I told you this one was going to head to the downside, and it's doing it pretty aggressively right there. We just went to 174 on AMD. Watch out for that one. We want to play some pops if that can happen. Wow, Alibaba, I was like, man, maybe we'll get that 74 short, but it's just hovering around 73. I don't think it's even open yet there for Alibaba, so $73 for that one. Coinbase is pulling back in, so we're going to watch out for that. There comes Coinbase back down into 125. We talked about possibly buying a 125 here. Why is that still Alibaba chart? Ugh.
Well,
Told you,
Rivian
man.
hit.
Yeah, okay, so Coinbase does try to make a move back to 125, that's all.
So Rivian's hit for me. I got Rivian in, square of 62. Didn't think that was going to come in. If you remember yesterday, I bungled the 62 square long, which was actually really good. Rivian just came back into 10s after breaking out. So if it holds 15, good. If it doesn't hold 15, bad. That's okay. That's about as.
That's good analysis?
Yeah, that's high-level analysis there. Mara challenging that 17. I will not let it fill this gap. Right? If it doesn't hold on to 17, I'll give it some shekels underneath that price, but not too much. Do not want to get trapped down there. Already mentioned Square at 62. So this was the yesterday level. If you're watching the show yesterday, yes, I made that bottom wick on Square yesterday. Yeah, it was, it happens. But today it wicks the bottom, and I don't stop it. I said in the afternoon show I wouldn't stop it right underneath because that's what failed me. So bit of a different plan. No short in Micron. It's one of those. It's going to be one of those.
What?
Just wasn't sitting in maybe should have been sitting in this trade as opposed to waiting for a fill in Micron because it's already down. It's already pulled back $1. I'll have to look for some kind of a bounce to get short on this name. Might have missed the boat on that ride.
We just have one position on. You can see it right here, coin. We took it long just right here, so we'll have to wait to see if it wants to work out or not. But we're willing to give it that chance here, Coinbase. So 125. We have another bid down. I mean, this could not work. So we have another bid at 125.50, and then if we break this 200 period of 125, we'll give it a little bit more love back downside. But there it is. Wait a second. Oh, 126. Okay. Well, there it is, man. Now we're almost $1. So that was funny. I thought it was going the other way. Right there. There's the first Dollar Club member right there. It is Coinbase. Thank you so much for that one, Mr. Coinbase. But we're not taking it out. We actually want 128 top. So I'm going to put an offer right there at 128. And then if we blast higher from that, then great. But we want to make sure that we get something out. Our top take on this one, as we wrote down, was 128.50. So if it breaks 128.50, we want to get out anyway. So let's put an order near 127. let's put it at the high of the day. If we get up to 127.65, we'll get out of this one. That would be really nice if that happens. We still need that to happen, so we'll wait for that now as it's pulling back in. So there it goes. We can look at Intel, Neil. Are you in that yet? No, we are not.
No, I'm looking at Micron, not Intel. So
44. Intel's not doing much.
Micron's starting to bounce.
Is it? Okay, good. Adara's got some news.
Yes, some movement here with Pinterest, actually. PINS falling back a little bit now, but still up about 2.5%, getting a price target increase from Evercore ISI today from 45 to 50. Got a price target increase yesterday as well from Bernstein, so definitely worth keeping an eye on PINS.
Intel's holding 44. It is starting to go up. Just an update on Square. It did ring the register at the quarter.
Tesla.
Looking to take another leg out here at the 50. Gimme. All right.
Pretty much always gets.
Do not offer 49. I will offer like 46 and see if I can get picked up. Mara's starting to make a bit of a bounce. So Coinbase went first. Hopefully Mara can just follow. It holds no even dollar stops. It's what I got burned Square yesterday by having an even dollar stop and then let the stops run me. We say don't do it. Structure it so you don't have to. Then it held 17 clean. This time it did hold the 17 level. I haven't taken anything out yet. I should take something out at the quarter, start to work this to the upside. But Rivian's starting to go, but not super strong on this bounce in Rivian. So I'll give it a little bit of room. If it gets up to 20 again, I should take something out. Oh, and Intel was bouncing, I said, off that 44. So it's starting to go up. That means looking for the short in Micron. We're not there yet. I still want something off the pre-market highs. Intel was the reason, I guess, to be looking short. So as it's going up, I'll see if I can't get some kind of a fill in front of that 88 level.
All right, so we got more shares here, and we talked about whether we wanted this, so let's see what happens now with Coinbase. We're still watching out for Bitcoin. I guess we're a little bit wrong here with thinking that Coinbase was going to go, because Bitcoin's fine. It's still 41.2. It's not doing, okay, here we go. I was going to say it's not doing anything, but then this happened, so we'll spin it right now. Nice trade here for us on Coinbase, man. We're long at 125 quarters. There it is. We'll take some out at 90s. Blackout right there. As this goes back up to another one here, back up to the upside, as that's sort of pay homage to one of our old friends there. So yeah, here we go, man. Nice move to the upside right there for Coinbase. We'll take a little piece out, but that's what we're doing. I feel like we want to scalp a little bit more today than we generally do.
I gotta tell this. As Coinbase is going
We're
up,
still
and
in half
up,
of this.
Let's fist bump it because you know what's up with that.
Yeah,
Because
man,
may
for
he
sure.
rest in peace. An absolute legend on our old trading floor. Good friend. But I used to say that all the time on the baseball diamond, and the wives of one of my teammates, no word of a lie, blackout, boom, blackout. And she's like, yo, man, why isn't Al at the game today? And because she thought I was saying Black Al because my name was Al.
Oh, Black Al.
Maddie's wife. For a whole year, she thought my name was Al because everyone would say Black Al, Black Al. And just shout out to our boy. He used to say that every time he made a good trade or anything really cool. So we're going to have to do that from now on because I haven't thought about that in a hot minute. The longs are, what's weird, the market's going down right now. So just alert to that. Because the longs are working. Square just got to 62.8. I'm going to hold on to that one. Mar, as you saw, was going to the upside. Rivian is working, but not nearly as much as these other two. So here's the concern. You're starting to pull back, you're breaking highs, but I'm looking at the overall market, and it is like stare down, and I'm only long, which is a little bit concerning. Let's go to Adara. Need to cover some longs.
Yeah, another name pretty strong right now, AXP, American Express. Earnings miss across the board here, but they do see the range for the full year 2024 revenue slightly higher than expected and revenue growth of 9 to 11%, up about 5+% right now, getting a nice push off the open, guys.
Trying to get a push here on
watch out for Apple.
Coinbase right now. Watch out for Apple.
Apple's about
Watch
to
out
break
now.
pre-market low.
We are looking, so Apple's getting to the downside. So let's just have a quick check on Tesla because like I was saying, man, we don't have enough. We don't have enough love right now for the shorts. Shout out to Jordan Love, of course. But we're going to wait to see here if we can get anything going because, oh, man, this Tesla chart's crap again. Okay, so that goes all the way down to 184. Look at Tesla, man, really starting to go now. So that's going to be a good little look there for anybody that did manage to go short on Tesla, long on Tesla yesterday. Coinbase, Still dancing here. We could put something at view up. I want a little bit higher than that. We're waiting at we're waiting at 126.30. So I guess we had put it right here at the top. That's kind of where view up is now. So a little bit of a blast up on Coinbase. We'll let it go. We're going to give this to 124.50. We talked about that. So could still be a loser at some point there if it goes back down, but take your profits. We're already out of half of Coinbase. Palantir is making a little bit of a move up against the market here. Market down 0.5. Palantir starting to go upside a little bit, so I don't mind this name for a long if we do pull back in. I don't want to go long at the top here. Needs to pull back, but we're getting going now. This is actually a good break for Palantir. I don't know if there was news on this, Adara, but
42.
Affirm's all the way up now as well. Okay, so we might have to do some work on these names.
You know, if you were watching yesterday, you probably remember a few things. One of those was missing any shot to short Affirm. I don't know if there's anything specifically why it's moving. I'd love to know that, but here is your somewhat triple top, and it's busting through. I need to see weakness underneath. I just trailed out of Rivian, so that must mean, where'd it go? Okay, oh yeah, I did another one of these like weird wicks. It failed 30s and then slammed back down. I was looking at Tesla resistance. Remember I said 187 on Tesla? Once I saw Tesla at that price, I'm like, okay, let's just take the money and run on Rivian. Might be a bad exit. We're hanging on to Square for dear life as that continues to go higher. However, yesterday's range, that's 62, that's 63. So we're at the 63 spot. If it fails 63 and this market step down, I'm going to take the dollar and run on that. Mara's continuing to go, so there's nothing wrong with this trade. It just needs to punch through the pre-market highs. Next stop, $18. I'm just looking for 17 to 18. And then if it goes through 18, I'll look for like 18 to 19. Just take the stairs to the upside. Adara has something on Palantir.
Yesterday morning.
But that's yesterday. Yeah, it's yesterday's news.
That's all good, baby, because we went long already, so we'll hit the siren, but we'll wait for it. We got some out here at 69er. We're long at 65.5 right now. So we punched some 66s, and then we got 65. So we're in that range right now for this name. So thanks to Dara for that. We'll wait to see if it could do something here. Targets for this Palantir trade, honestly, if we break below this 50, like 60 area, 60s, we want to get out. Come on, Palantir, yes. This could be a great little win here. I'm glad we sort of found that one, trying to break out a little bit, Palantir there. And again, it's just taking this 50 period on the 20-minute chart. So we had looked at this yesterday. We looked at it breaking 17 yesterday. So we've been on the Palantir long, obviously. You guys should know that. So we'll wait to see if it can get going now again. But breaking back down through 1660 is a no-fly zone for this guy. So we'll wait if we can get that in, like I just mentioned. So that's going to be Palantir. We'll see if it has any good stuff behind it. I am offering right now some 73s, which will be pretty good if we can get that. And then we'll see upside, and now 1680 could be the spot that we look for there in PLTR.
Let's go power up here. It's movie night at my house tonight, and for the 17th time, we're probably going to be watching Super Mario Brothers, which is fine because it's a fun movie.
Yeah, we went to the theater for that one.
I've listened to Jack Black do that song so much that I might as well just, I can do it almost off by heart. It's ridiculous. But I've got the trail in now. We can't do worse than a buck on Square at this point. If it breaks down underneath that 20 level, I'm looking at this
Coinbase
close area here, then I'm just going to jam out. Otherwise, I think we're holding it for about 63.5 here. So I'm going to get, 63.60 that peak was. I'm going to get an offer out there, try and grab that top. I like to go station to station on these types of plays. Mara is now through that top. So I'm out there right in front of 90s, going to sit 88s, take the fill, get out, hunt for the next, and here comes Micron to the upside. That short is finally, I think, going to come in. I was looking for that short. Hopefully we can get it over to the desk with Adara.
Small cap getting a nice push up here. PRCH, this is Porch Group, yesterday after close announcing that they've received $25 million with the signing of a strategic agreement with Aon. So keep an eye on PRCH, up 24%, guys.
All right, we don't have a $1 winner. We have a $2 winner. There goes Coinbase. It's up 250 right now. We're starting to go. Like, this is why you guys, I hope, are here, man. I mean, we're putting out some good trades today. Once again, follow us, and you'll see the kind of trades that we're talking about. We put this down right here on the sticky note today, so there's no surprise about this one that we wanted Coinbase to the long side. Let's just see if it works. Needs to break upside. I told you where we're waiting, right here, right now. 127.80. So we want to go long 128.50. It's finally starting to break on BTC. So yes, sirree, Bob. As there we go. That's it. Nicely done there on Coinbase. There it goes. Okay, well, we might get longer here right now. Those were great buys at that bottom. I hope you guys sort of followed that down into the 200 period. There's 128 and change. There it is. There it is. Boom, boom, boom. We got a lot out there for about $1 and change. Those are 126.50 areas. Just we talked about that could have been an area, and then we also said that we were going to sit at the high of the day, which that's what that is right there. So yeah, that's it, man. Bottoms to tops. We started from the bottom.
Now we're here.
Yeah, we're still in the middle right now, so we'll see. We're in the middle of the goal, man. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. We got to get to a milli ASAP on that subscription. So on that those follows. So guys, subscribe right now. She's not here today, but you're going to see her right now.
You want to get to 500,000 first.
That's what I'm saying. We need to get to 500,000, and then we'll get to the big one. So
I'm going to say 427.50.
And by the way, Palantir is Rip City right now.
So you'll see I am now out of all of the long positions. They all went to target. Sometimes that's the way the morning rush works. It took 15 minutes. Sometimes it's a half an hour. But bottom to top, there was this curl here on Mara off the 17 level. It got to 80s, found a sell in there, so I took it out. Obviously, Square, we also mentioned that one. Rivian, we already got it, I've explained it. Had the target on Square. It did jam back down underneath that resistance level, and it's still going. So it came right up to here, double top. The second I saw weakness at it, jumped out of the trade. If I'm looking to continue the trade, I'm always going to think about breakout price being the next support level. So if we pull back, I'll look at 63 to 63.10 for re-entry. But the next thing on my mind right now is Micron, because it's finally, there it is. There is the press into the pre-market high. This is about 88 and a quarter was resistance after the Intel earnings. So I'm already going to have a stop at that price. But the first short of the day for me is about to come into play. We already had a stop on Micron.
Guys, we've got the same kind of thing right now. Spin it. 80 cents in the money now again. What are we even doing here? 80 cents in the money on AMD short. And we talked about this short. We said what we were going to do. We are what we said we are. We're a shorting AMD trader today. We said we would short this at 178. So looks down. Short 178. That's what we have on board. So we just took some out, man. I mean, here it comes in again. This is 80 cents now. It's still starting to go to the downside. My best out is 177.28. We took too many out in the 50s, but that came 50 cents real quick. So there it is. Nice downside push there for AMD. Let's go. It is going to be another one. We already had a $3 winner. Let's put another one right now on AMD to the downside. It's a Dollar Club member right here for AMD. We do get a nice pushback in for Palantir. We were lucky enough to get another bid right now at 61. So honestly, I'm overloaded on the shares. I'm not anymore because we're getting out, but there's AMD. AMD is now trying to go $2 as it's trying to really fall down. I don't know if you got your MU or not there, but
oh, I'm short.
Oh, sorry, you do have it. That's great. $88. That's a great price. But here we go, man. It's AMD short off 178. So it's continuing to go down. I hope that you guys have this trade. And if not, look for something similar. I just feel that Intel, actually, no, we haven't even looked at Intel. I was like, I want to go short these names because of Intel. And here we are not short Intel. Intel's breaking the low of the day. So
that doesn't hurt.
No, I feel very, very comfortable with this trade, man.
Why do I have
we are really starting to go. Let's bid 176 though. See if we could take two clean.
Yeah, I'm getting on the bid here because Intel's getting close to a support level, ish. Let's just call it. So I'm going to get some out here in front of 87.40 on Micron. And there was a chat. It was Renata was saying thank you for Square. The entire impetus was the dumbest trade I made yesterday was Square. So today I was determined to I made the bottom wick on this. We don't have our position showing from yesterday, but I was long twice in here and lost twice at that bottom, which then held the entirety of the day. So when it holds today, just learn from the lessons of yesteryear or yesterday. Let's go to Adara at the desk. Apparently DWAC's moving as well, so we should be looking at that.
Yeah, I was just going to say DWAC kicking off a little bit here. Digital World Acquisitions Corp. We did fall quite a bit on Wednesday here, getting a nice pop to the upside with volume of about 12%. DWAC once again, guys.
So was Rumble. Rumble's also at $6. Double top on Rumble. What I always hate when you weren't planning on trading a stock, it wasn't part of the pre-market plan, and then at 9:47, it's already at a key level. All right, patience is a virtue. I'm not throwing good money at bad. I'm not taking a blind breakout that I wasn't thinking about 20 minutes ago. So let's just get back to square one. So took the bid on Micron there at 87.4. If we break 87, I think I'm looking at a different trade for it to fill in some of this gap. Like the 87 is your support level. Want to be out there and looking for another short underneath. Just checking back in on Mara. As I see, Bitcoin's not really doing a heck of a lot. I think we got a good out there up at that top in front of 18, but if we're going to go trend up, anywhere around VWAP would look pretty enticing, or all the way back at the 17 even. So that's what I think I'm looking for next. Like, where's that next stair step to the upside? Rivian, it wasn't a good price out. It was a good trail, but the execution slipped by a few more cents than you would expect on Rivian. Like when it broke back underneath, I actually got slipped for 5 pennies on a $15 stock, but it's right back at that 15 level. If it's not bouncing off 15, I don't want any piece of it. So we're going to be very patient trying to look for a reload there. As long as Intel's going down, I think you want to hold your chip names to the south side. Oh, and we forgot about something.
What's that now?
Netflix came back in here. It's now red on the day. It's nowhere near that. It would have to drop, by the way, it has to drop another $10 to $12 to get to yesterday's support level. So still got to wait.
Man, oh man. All right, yeah, good. I mean, the shorts that are working for us. I mean, well, we only have 3 positions on right now. So I have AMD, and I'm letting this one bleed. Honestly, if this market wants to go down, like I'm just gonna wait for that 176 and just bid it, you know, because if it comes back in now I'm bidding 176.21. Okay, so if it comes. Well, okay, well, now it's at 41s. Now it's at 31s. Now it's at, 22's just printed. There it is right now. Let's go. Shout out to Brendan over there. The goat is in the building. If that's a goat or a sheep, that's up to you. But there it is right there. There's 1.7. Look at that wick. Look at that wick. You got to sit there to have those trades on board. $3 winner on Coinbase. Deuces up for AMD. We are stone cold chilling right now. Yo, Fabian, how's it going, my guy? What, you got a croissant over there? I like that.
You don't need croissants on Fridays.
I like that. Man, I guess I'm just always in a good mood. What's up, Adara?
Levi's really looking good here, pushing up to 8% to the upside. We did have some mixed earnings and mixed projections yesterday during earnings, but they did say they're going to try to cut 10 to 15% of their corporate workforce. So certainly an interesting note here for Levi's, up about 7.5%, guys.
Good look there on Levi's. I just remembered why DWAC is running. Where can I short Funware? So 2 things. A, I haven't paid for locates. B, about 34 and then 45 to 50 would look like the 2 levels to work to the downside. I saw someone saying they're going to take NEO at $6. My first thought was NEO's at $6 again. I thought it recovered 6. Okay, that might be something, that $6 level. But the market's holding, but the chip names are flushing right now. The leader of the pack, obviously Intel, is down 12%. And headed for a test of this 43 level. So 43 is trend bottom. 43 is like the wick bottom on earnings as well. I'd anticipate a bit of a bounce there, or some kind of a bounce. Maybe an SSR bounce because it's short sell restricted. Like that's where I'd be going for the long. If I'm going for a short sell restricted bounce, it has to be at that 43 level. Square doesn't seem to want to pull back for me here into 63. So we got to be patient with this one, trying to pick something up on a bid. Mara might be giving you, that's the one. All right, Mara might be giving us something here. Let's go back to the 3-minute. I like to look at my levels on the 15 because those are the bigger levels, but Mara pulling in at VWAP. If it can hold, level off here at VWAP, I'd look for a re-entry into this long. Okay, a little bit of Mara action. All right, so we, Palantir just came, we were buying it until it broke. So that literally just happened. I was going to talk about Palantir and how we were getting more out because we were, and then we had an offer at 64. We were not getting filled. So Palantir comes
comes out. I mean, it's just the market's below right now. We are now so much in the money right here on AMD. It's stupid. We are now $2.25 in the money as it continues to go. It just went to 175.50. And please, if everyone does have an X account out there, maybe I should start putting these up on Instagram as well. We do have an Instagram account that we have 400 votes right now. Red is what the market's looking like right here for that, but that's actually really close. We just put this out about AMD 178, and I said the target was 176. So we got that, and now we're getting more. So bleed to the downside goes AMD right now. Bye-bye. So that was a good one. Hopefully you guys still have that, and go follow me for trade ideas. Follow all of us on all the socials as well. You'll be able to catch that. So here, we had to go short. So I'm just looking at my notes here. The short that we should have had already was Alibaba, but it's actually where's my offer? I didn't realize Alibaba was all the way up here. Oh, 73.90 we're at. So it only gets to 77 or so. Wow, now we are $3. Not working? Okay. Okay, so the animations are working, but it's a $3 winner right now, which is good. They're back? Okay. Not yet, not yet. All right, doesn't matter. There it goes, 175. We talked about weakness in AMD this morning. We said we would pick on it. We said we downgraded this name a couple days ago. Someone named Josh Brown did it yesterday. And here it goes to the downside. It's AMD. It's bleeding down. Yeah, we'll see where this one goes. I don't know. I mean, obviously you're still in Micron. That's going to be a good one. AMD probably a little more aggressive than Micron, but still, it's still a dollar. Great trade. Again, notice the prices, man. Micron's only $80. So, okay, here we go. AMD is now $4. $4 right now in the money on AMD.
Oh my goodness, the chip names are bleeding. Yesterday, someone asked me, it was like, oh, could Intel actually turn the market for the chips? I was like, I'd feel more confident that AMD's earnings would turn the market for the chips than Intel's. I was wrong about that. It's not the gates of hell, but it is this morning, man. AMD is flushing. Like 175, I want to check out SMCI in a second because I can't imagine they're having a good day. I think, and the market's not even down 1%. If NVIDIA doesn't hold 600 today, then you're going to want to find re-entries to your short positions in some of the chip names. You want to hold on to them and all that good stuff. I don't want to touch NVIDIA at the lows. I just mentioned SMCI. I'm going to point out this hasn't even broken the low yet, so this gets through 460, then it gets even nastier. I just noticed that Nikola was popping. I can't imagine why that's happening, so I'm going to pay for some locates here. Just in case, I want to be prepared, and I don't have any locates on Nikola. Micron is going to be at my target here. It's right at the bottom. Intel is at support, so I'm going to stick to the plan, which is if it bounces off of 67, just get out of Dodge and look for the next trade. Oh, shoot, a firm.
Mucho appreciation.
We missed a firm. Damn it, again?
Fancy.
Missed a firm again at that top.
Come on, man.
Nah, it's fine.
Yeah, of course it's fine. And we can't short everything. I mean, that Micron trade is monstrous. We've got AMD.
Gotta get
we already had, that's why I'm looking for more shorts as well. We already had this great trade in Coinbase. It went up to 128 and faded out. Coinbase is actually a worse stock than I even thought. Can you believe that? Like, I've been very bearish on this name basically since inception. But like this name today, Bitcoin is up right now quite nicely, man. We started the show at 41.1. It's at 40, like, congratulations, man. It's at
41.4.
I keep hitting the same thing, I don't know why. But it's at 41.4 now, and Coinbase is making the move down. So I'm going to, as they say, or do they say it, hit it and quit it with Coinbase, because we already took our money on that, and now it's like,
well, what's weird,
get
back at the highs almost.
That's what I mean. I feel like Coinbase is really the worst stock in the bunch. And we've sort of nailed that on the head. I mean, the regulatory issues they have, not properly. A lot of people don't like the management structure over there and what some of the guys did, with some of those funds earlier on with that. But, whatever. It is what it is. This is just... It's just a stock at the end of the day. They're going to come out with earnings, and they're probably going to wow everybody, and there's a short float on this name as well. So Coinbase continues to be a great tool, a great vessel to trade.
I'll tell you guys, I did miss Mara. There's a difference. I always talk about getting things in the front end or the back end, like sitting on the bid to buy the dip versus seeing it bounce and trying to catch it on the way up. I prefer the second way as opposed to the first. If you sat on the bid, you got Mara long and it bounced. If you waited for it to turn, then maybe you were really, really fast and not old man hands like myself and actually caught this. But it wicked all the way to 17.20 and then was right back in the 30s and 40s. It was super fast. I didn't catch it. I'll look for a consolidation, but I now do have, DWAC just did this. See that pullback off 40? You know where I'm headed with this. Funware is wicking it right now. I just paid for the locates on Fun. So DWAC did that failure, and now I'm trying to grab Funware pulling back into VWAP if I can catch it sitting on the offer. Why am I at the E? I'm above 35. That doesn't even make any sense, Neil. Okay, I'm taking 35 short. And with DWAC, and again, I know I did this really fast. DWAC did a pullback to VWAP. So as long as this is under 40, if I can short Fun under this resistance, then I'm going to take a shot at it. So DWAC up 11%. Sympathy short for me. I'd rather short Funware than DWAC, as I've been saying the last couple of days. Let's go to Adair.
CRBP, this one was mentioned earlier. Corbus Pharmaceuticals getting another nice pop to the upside here, initially trading higher after announcing a presentation for some data from one of their studies. So CRBP still really strong, up 150%, guys.
Okay.
Apple's going.
People talking about Apple. Palantir's still at 650 right now. Where's my friend? Where's my friend in need? Roblox. Right now. Let's have a quick look. 41. That was one name that I wanted to dip by. We were talking about 40 levels on that name, and we should have done that. That went down into 38. That was, problem is it was above the 50-period moving average. Thanks, Rob, for refueling.
Intel's starting to go up. I missed yeah, it didn't
Okay,
quite
well, let me adjust this then because, all right, you know what? We still have a quarter of the, no, we have less than a quarter of this trade. Anyways, I don't know what I'm talking about. We have this trade on board now. It's less than a quarter, so we'll have to wait for it. But I'm still waiting for that level, and that level is going to be down here, 174. I still feel like we could break lower. I don't really want to give this up. It's a nice move back. If anything, I'm looking to reshort more rather than just punch out of this. So that's something that I'm trying to change with myself as well. Yeah, go ahead.
No, this is the best. Renata in the chat just posted. She goes, at Neil Roberts, square 63. This is what I think is valuable about the show, is if we're doing it well, sometimes you guys know what we're thinking because you've been watching every single day. So you knew what I was looking for when I talked about square reload. It's like, I'm only getting back in. There's your pre-market high, dip, hold the pre-market high, back above, go long after it makes that move. Stop is going to be right underneath that local bottom. Like that's exactly what I was looking for. So you should, I mean, you see it popped in as you were putting that, Renata, as the move is happening. So it's looking for a very specific setup, and it's like a trade is idea and then execution as well. So there's the way that you're looking to get into it. So I'm into square. I want to reload Micron too. I'm thinking that's still short. Even if Intel's going up, I still want to be short Micron. But it's 10 o'clock already, so let's get to the desk. We've got happening now.
Some numbers this morning. We did already get core PCE earlier today, but right now we have some pending home sales month over month already released, 8.3 versus consensus of 1.5% and forecast of 0.7. So quite a bit higher than the consensus and the forecast. Still waiting on pending home sales year over year here, but forecast for this one is negative 3.4. Just came in 1.3 versus negative 3.4, so also higher than expected here for that pending home sales year over year. Market not reacting too much to this, still slightly down on the day after 5 consecutive days of massive strength here for the SPY. Lots of earnings and lots to keep an eye on this week for sure. One earning to keep an eye on, Intel finding a little bit of a base here around 41.50, but still down about 11.5%. Revenue and earnings beat here, but definitely lower than expected forecast across the board. So INTC still on watch. AXP also making new all-time highs earlier today. Strong revenue projections coming in to the next quarter here, still up about 7.5%. So earnings names on watch across the board, guys.
Yeah, lots of earnings names here. So yeah, it looks like some of these chip names are starting to rally back a little bit, which is fine. We're fine with that. I was just talking a little bit about Roblox there. We didn't really get to finish it, but down here to 141. We're under the 200 period right now, and the market, I'm thinking still short. Remember yesterday we said turn those algos short? I mean, yesterday was short, today we're short again. But you're still at VWAP, so I'm not necessarily, okay, here we go. Not necessarily convinced, but we could use that level there, 4120-ish. That's 4130, 4130. So I feel like we want to short now Roblox. We're underneath that name. They're down on the day. They're not even, they're down, but not that much. We'll see. There we go. We're punching in. We get a bunch of half prints there. We're going to try Roblox up to that 4130. If it fails past that, then we will get out. So that's Roblox. We're going to try it. It's not my favorite. Well, it is. I mean, there's probably better setups right now. We're underneath, and we're starting to push lower here on RBLX with not that much volume. So
Oh my goodness.
if this can come in and break through 41, I mean, right there, we just punched short. We just punched short 12s. Looks like we'll get some, I mean, we don't want to get everything out, obviously, but we'll get something out if we do approach, and when, I should say, we do approach that 41 flat. So right there, we just gave that to you, and it's nice that right away it goes 10 cents in the money. So, well, almost. We'll get a piece out down there, and then we're going to hold for much lower on Roblox. But there it is, man. We just punched short. Hopefully we punch short together. We'll see if it works against 41.33-ish.
So just a quick, it's not a new position yet, but it's a potential flat bottom break here on SoFi. So when I sat down this morning, it seemed equally likely that SoFi would be testing $8, then it would be testing $7.50. But they report Monday morning, sometime pre-market, and $7.50 is going to be on the bid any second now. If it gets down to that price, you can see it's a clear support level. If there's a big bid, I'll probably be long at 51 first. But if it's a flat bottom break, I would be looking to reverse that to the south side. The new position alert for me was, and still is, fun, which I just added to here. All right, I got to fill. I don't need to throw those offers in. Was able to add to this one. Why? Because it then wicked the lower. So there's your first wick at 36, short 35. Then it wicks 36 again, short 35 change. So sometimes what'll happen is it sets up a setup. It shows you that setup. I still like what DWAC is doing. And then I ask myself, if I was flat, what would I do? Well, I'd be shorting that. So we're just going to add to it here, see if that can continue to flush. Square was able to ring the register on the first out here, but it's still hugging VWAP, now putting in a lower high. The market still feels weak right now. The problem was all of the good positions for me were all longs. I mean, there was one short was in the chip names, and then everything else was like working longs. But the market feels weak right now, so I do not want to be giving these profits up. If it gets back to the high and rejects it, I think you just take it out. There's definitely some strength in at least some Mag 7 names, not to ignore them. I like Apple short 196. I thought we had a chance to break 193 and we'd look for like the flat bottom break at 193. Clearly Apple has other ideas. If Apple breaks this 195, remember that 196. You know, that's a big level yesterday. You were short it yesterday. If it gets there again, I think that's a fade. Just an idea about Netflix. Remember we said we liked the dip buy at about 550? Yeah, well, you can forget about that now. Netflix is only going one way. Like,
Yeah.
You
You can't go against those earnings.
It showed you the hit
By the way,
in the
Roblox.
afternoon. Wow, that's unbelievable. It showed you in the afternoon how strong it was yesterday. It just maybe thought it would test that level again. Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye. I mean, guys, what else can we do with this Roblox trade? I mean, this is a monster one. We hit it with you. We hit this trade with you. We sat there and we were like, oh yeah, about Roblox. Short. We did it right there, right live on the air with everybody. So I'm just gonna say props up if you did that with me as well. As Renato was saying there, it's easy sometimes, you know. I explained why we liked it, I gave you the breakdown, and then I punched it after I did all of that. So really, really happy with that trade. Obviously, we're gonna take a little bit more out there. Alibaba, you know, again, you know, we can be happy with multiple names, right? New position alert. Wake up, America. Here it is right now. We have this trade on, and we're going to see if it can go down even lower than this. There's Alibaba. Why would we short 74? Oh yeah, 74 short. It's right here on the sticky note. We're short 73.90. It's now print city on Alibaba. Let's see if it wants to get back down to the downside. $2 in the money on AMD. Now, wow. I mean, this has been a really good trade here, Roblox, guys. Like, honestly, happy to put this on and, you know, happy to show you the reasons why. Alibaba, again, though, it's too strong today. So I'm actually thinking that this name could be the one that we got to be most concerned with and take profit out. Like, why is so I'm bidding 77 again. Why is Alibaba up here right now? You know, it's only down 0.1. The market's getting killed and down near the bottoms. We'll hold all
Here's a
of
note. PDD is down 1.5.
PDD is down. Okay, so yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So let's get Alibaba down. I mean, what is NIO? NIO is gonna have a different
that's
beast
up.
because of Tesla.
Tesla.
So I'm gonna forget about that. Actually, let me look at Tesla right now. Wow, 183. Okay, well, you guys know. You know, again, it's 180. Like honestly, thanks to Louisa and some other people that are talking about some of the trades that I've had on in the last couple of weeks, it's like, this is what it's about, man. It's calm, it's cool, it's collected, it's making the right trades, it's hitting them, it's explaining them to you, it's getting in and out of bad trades and even making, there's a bad trade, like that's the only one that I can hang my hat on. Like we have one red name today, Palantir, and I'm, you know what? I'm just gonna take 100 shares and make a couple bucks here because it's not even red. But this is a good trade there. AMD, we could have had more. It's starting to rip back up to the upside. Both of us hold these shorts. Here it comes, man. Maybe these chip names aren't right to be short right now.
You got to watch. I'm watching Intel pretty closely. By the way, I did get into that SoFi. I was trying to get 2s, and it bounced at 2s, sat at 3s, didn't get 3s, took something at 4, but it has to be a starter. I didn't want to be all in at 4. This is what's happening in Intel. Like Intel is trying to stair-step it up to VWAP. So if it's going to trend to the downside, it needs to first find some kind of a lower high top and then work back into the downside. Once that happens, I just want to stick to what's working. Like I'll probably reshort Micron in that particular case. You know, I'm sure if Intel starts rolling back over, you look to short like AMD. But I am keeping an eye on Intel. If it bounces, it's the reason the chip names are weak today. So you got to be watching that one. So this is SoFi. It's just a 750 level. We showed you that flat bottom. And just an update on Funware. What goes up must come down. So we talked about this, that after the primaries, which are done, regardless of what anybody tries to tell you, once that happened, DWAC rolled over, Funware was up on sympathy. But this trade gets to VWAP. Like, look at this thing hug VWAP pretty much the entire day. If you're short this, where would you want to start covering shares?
Right.
Like, let it get there and then cover shares down there. I'm still going to hold on to half in case it can go lower, but you got to take profit out. And speaking of why you got to take profit out, I mean, DWAC is still going down, but Funware is holding VWAP. So I'm still looking for more on Funware, but I've got to acknowledge what's happening over there in DWAC. So take your profits. This is the best. Zolt the Bolt. Great name.
Great name.
Interesting call. Tesla, real intrinsic value is $1.84. Okay.
Stupid call.
Okay.
Okay.
184?
Oh, so it means 180.
No, he said $1.84. I'm assuming you meant $184.
yeah.
That is oddly specific.
Obviously a joke.
But it's right at, if that's the price it's right at. So, I mean, I know you're probably kidding around.
Yeah. There has to be some shade there. That doesn't make any sense. Okay. We'll continue to watch it though.
Hold on. I'll make this guy like some kind of a
bet?
Yeah, we can figure
What, that Tesla's not going to $1?
Figure a Tesla bet that's reasonable by next quarter or like maybe this time next month. Because I'll take the other side I'll probably try to take.
Yeah,
the
you'll
other
take
side.
a side. Who knows?
But like, don't make it unreasonable, and then hit me up.
Yeah. Okay. Good one. All right. So that should be fun. Yeah, we can do that. We have some polls up and stuff like that. AMD is coming back up. So, you know, we did. I told you remember I was like, oh, we have a quarter left. We didn't. I mean, and then I corrected myself. We had like less than 10% left. I forgot how many outs we had there at 177. Remember? And I was like, oh my God, we got to get this out. We had too many there. So anyways, now it's coming back up to the upside. So we're going to have to watch out to see if we can make some cash on this play now. So
Intel's at 44. This is the level.
That's the level. So Intel's at a level, and we're basically at the level again here for AMD of 178. So we'll reload it if it comes up there. It still has a little bit of work to do to get back up there, but that's something that we're willing to do and wait for. So we'll wait to see if that can come in all the way back up to the upside. Alibaba is still in the pocket there, and so is Roblox. So maybe you're still short Micron. You got some nice longs there in the payment space. What's up with that, man? You got money on your mind?
That's a little weird.
You've got Square and SoFi. SoFi's at 750. Yuck.
Well, the SoFi, this is coincidental. Like again, the level. Someone put SoFi in the chat, and I see that, and I'm like, okay, let's see what's going on with SoFi. And then I see a double bottom at 750. I'm like, okay, well, what do? You go long in front of a double bottom and look for a bounce into VWAP. Like that's a very specific setup. It's no different from if you find a resistance spot, you short it into VWAP. Like what we should have all been doing on a firm, let's be real for a second, what we all should have been doing on a firm at 43 was looking at the perfect 43 fail break, and then just, you could have shorted it to VWAP, that's fine, but it then goes another leg to the downside. I'm just mad that for 2 days in a row, a firm has done exactly what you want it to do for the short.
Yeah.
And then 2 days in a row, the only 2 days this year, well, obviously this month, that nobody on the show traded it to the short side, neither myself nor Sean. But so far, so good. I just reloaded Micron. Intel is starting to roll back over off this. Oh, what did I do with that chart? Anyways, off that 44 level, I just kind of hid that chart. But if Intel does fail VWAP, I want to be adding into this short on Micron. Funware is still looking okay. Square is bouncing, not nearly as much as I would like to see. You know, the first time it failed 40s, it's bouncing again. I didn't reload it because I thought the futures were heavy. If Square breaks the high of the day, then that will have been a mistake not to go into it again. As I said, I felt a little bit bearish about this market right now, so I did not reload third time on Square.
All right, so right now, right here, right now, we just shout out to my Robloxian friends over there. Fabian, where is it? I'll do it myself. There it is, right there. As we go, thank you for that, Fabian. Yeah, man, this is a good one. There it is. Okay, good.
There it is.
Yeah, there it is. He got it. This is paying us out today, so it's pretty good here so far. As we wait to see what happens with Roblox, I just put a bid down there at 80. Didn't even realize it was this far in, so that's going to be a good one. And we do have a new trade alert, and we just got it twice a little bit here. So we'll wait on Roblox. We're out of half of all of this. Roblox, we're out of half, unfortunately, and we're also out of half of Alibaba. No, I say unfortunately, but whatever. We just got more. Okay, there we go. We just got a 48 there on Snapchat. As it just, I think we did anyways. That was really fast. Yeah, we were offering 48 and got it. So we'll see now if it gets us 48s again. We're actually waiting at 50 now for the next little piece in. Remember, Snapchat had that upgrade today, and they've just fallen in. So we found a bottom there, and again, we're trying, we say this, but this is what I'm doing, you know, building these positions against relative strength or weakness. They already got upgraded today. It just fell in. So it fell into a price.
Awesome.
Let's see. So right now we got some decent positions here, and we'll see if it can fade up now back to some of these levels, man. The 50 period and the 200 period would be great. We are offering some 50s, and again, it's a little bit of a lower price name, so you could take a little bit more shares. And right now, this is already 1-to-1. We were using 38 as our outs. There we go. We just got 50s, so. You know, right now we're in the money basically flat. We only have 45s, so we're starting to get out now. This is a good 1-to-1 trade. Again, if you're like surprised at this movement to the upside, take some out. It fell back in. We're just playing strength versus weakness.
Bless you.
Bless you. That's about as easy as it can get right there for Snapchat, right? Stay on the names that are moving around, and this one upgraded today, but you would think it was downgraded. So we'll hold on to it. If it still breaks, it's broken, and I'm fine with that, but that's what we're going to be looking at. Roblox starting to go back down, and AMD's right at 178. I kind of left this when I was thinking about other things here.
Just a couple of things here. One, if you like the show, and I'm going to give you another reason why you should love it. Remember when Brendan brought everybody CRBP in the pre-market? Yeah, this thing. Yeah, about that. So since then, that's kind of a double up. And it's currently tapping the theoretical auction price above the current high. It's halted a couple of times on the way upside, so you know what I'm going to say next if you've been watching the show. No one ever went broke taking profits. I never advise anybody buy these types of things at highs. I think if you haven't paid yourself out, a trade requires also getting out to take profit. So I'll just, you know, everyone do you. You've always got to make your own trades. But one of the things that pains me the most is when we hear the stories and people in our chat will be like, oh, the stock was great. And then tomorrow morning, I guess it'd be Monday morning, someone in like the Breakfast Club or someone in the pre-market chat's like, what do I do? It's gapped back down. It's like, oh man, you had like 100%. So yeah, take your profits. Speaking of which, I'm getting back on this bit of funware. Sometimes you don't actually want VWAP to be a great level. When is that the case? When you're short and the stock is holding VWAP all the way up. So that's what funware is doing. So I'm going to take a little bit more out there, just respecting how strong this is at 33 cents and VWAP. The other thing that's happening is DWAC is making a bit of a bounce, but under VWAP. So I want to still be net short. Why? Because the thing I'm using and the reason to be in was DWAC failing 44. It's failing under VWAP, so I still think funware can press a little bit lower. I got bids in front of 32 and 31. because creatively, that's how I trade penny stocks. Like short 35, bid 34, bid 33, bid 32, bid 31.
Sounds good to me. All right, well, I'm just gonna go back to the well. We have more positions on right now, but man, this has been, like this is like, look at this. Look what the, I can't even, I think it's time to do a Trader TV Live ETF. This is just, like we just went short again at 178 and just covered it at some at 178.50 right there. Let's see, hello, Kathy? Yes. Oh, okay, we have to talk. Damn it.
Well, how's her?
She's always asked. Yeah, she's like been like, yo, let's get together and grab and grab drinks and think about an ETF. So yeah, she's calling. I'll get you back later. No, I can't, man. I can't, man. I've talked to him before. His fees are a little high. We'll talk to Warren after.
Kathy's calling because ARK is about to turn red, and she's like,
no, she's calling about the ETF.
Somebody get on the bid. Can you guys get on the bid for us, please? Is probably what she's calling
maybe.
about.
But right now, she's probably calling and saying, Sean, how the hell did you just tell everybody to short Roblox when it's at the bottom right there? That was a pretty good call. And then she's like, wait a second, what about Alibaba up there? And she's like, hey, Trader TV Sean, what's up with Coinbase? Like, they like to trade Coinbase, and she's trying to get long Coinbase. Meanwhile, I just boomed that at 128. So shout out to you, Kathy. We'll hit you back up. There's another name right there. Snapchat snapping out of the account as fast as it got in there. So up and down on Snapchat. And this is, again, like to be able to get out of Palantir there. Saving right there. That's, these are the kind of plays that you're looking for. It's like, get out when you're wrong. Like this Snapchat before. Now look, we just got out at 40 break, back to 44. But the idea here is that if you're wrong, I don't want to be wrong and then get rid of all of the profit that we have today. Like some of these trades that we have on are pretty monstrous. Like, look, here's AMD again. Let's just let this thing fall down again. If it goes back up, we'll take it out at 178.50. But because we're not doing the dance here that I want, like we're well under 50 period, we're well under VWAP, this thing should be a lot lower. 178.50 now. Because we've already taken 50 cents, we can hold this 50 cents. 178.50 is our target out for that one. And honestly, Roblox, man, loving you right now. Maybe the kids will get some more Robux later tonight. After hockey. And if she wins.
Or you could spring for those Olivia Rodrigo tickets.
Yeah, but I can't, you know what? I wasn't able. Want me to show you what they are in the secondary market, man?
Well, I'm like a little.
My brother-in-law is already coming down, and we're going to go to a Leafs game, and he wants to sit low. Well, those are $400 face value.
But that's the Leafs, though.
Right, Olivia Rodrigo is way better than the Leafs. Easily. Going to a concert rather than going to a sporting event?
All over that.
It's not even close.
But it's to each their own.
No, we can put a poll up.
That's to each their own, like I said. Like I would prefer to be at the sporting event. But
really?
That's me. Oh yeah. I'm a
sporting event rather than a concert.
I'd rather be at the sporting event than the concert. That's just me. To each their own, man.
Yeah, to each their own.
Like I'm one of those believers that I'm just not gonna be for something because everybody else is.
No, a concert you like. Not, I mean, if you don't want to go to Olivia Rodrigo.
No, but like I was at like
a Leaf game you can go to all the time.
I'm the biggest Blackstreet fan in like the entire world. I saw them live.
Wow.
And that did not compare to like going to like a Jays playoff game or going to a Bills Monday Night Football game. And that was like the one, like I'm the huge fan. You guys know I have no idea who that group is.
I guess for the Jays, they don't play many playoff games, I guess.
No, but remember the Bills Monday night versus the Dallas that we were at?
Yeah,
Goal at the end. Come on, man. I live for stuff like that. Was amazing. It would be nice to go to an AFC Championship game. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. One update for you. Okay, so Fun is still working, but it's still holding VWAP. It just wicked underneath. If it does another wick under, I might try to grab some liquidity there. I'm waiting for a little closer to VWAP on Micron to get out. And the long trades, because there are long trades, believe it or not still, Square is still stair-stepping it up. I'd like it to hold this, break the top, and I want to get out in front of 64. We're going to get to, are we ready for, no? Okay.
We're ready for more shorts on AMD.
So yeah, we're already talking about Micron. The other long is obviously SoFi. I just wanted to update you guys. The double bottom at 750. It's held the first level up. Now I'm looking to get out in front of VWAP. We are now ready for the small cap recap with Adara at the desk.
Ooh.
Got the Russell 2000 up here, IWM. This is the small cap ETF getting a nice bounce off that 196 level. Lots of runners to talk about. As always, one of the first ones here, definitely been discussed a bit earlier. A couple people here. Corbus Pharmaceuticals, that is CRBP, now up almost 300%. This one halting quite a bit, so be definitely cautious of that, but basically announcing some positive study data to be presented at an upcoming conference. So keep an eye on this one for sure. Also, Vera, this is a 2-day runner. About this one yesterday, a small cap recap. Today, getting an upgrade from Raymond James and a price target increase from Wedbush. Raymond James upgrading to strong buy for VERA. Last but not least, this one, ACON trying to get a move back to the upside here, about 80%. Clarion is the name of this company. Not seeing any news on this one right now, but very small float, below 700,000 shares from what I've seen, though. I've seen a couple different numbers on that, so definitely be cognizant of the float on ACON, guys.
All right, Acon. All right. Coinbase down to 122. All right. As that one's all the way to the downside right now. I probably won't trade this, but it's gotten hit down pretty good right here. So we'll have to wait to see where it goes. But this could be a long 121.50. You could take it here and see what you can solve from that. But yeah, we'll wait on it for now. It's 129.50 coming in here. Hopefully.
What's wild is Bitcoin is exactly where it was the last time I looked at your screen, and I'm really right now just considering, am I sitting on this bid at Mara? That's the question. The answer is probably going to be no, because I want to catch it if it gets a little bit of green. But if it does the same wick at 17, I'm probably going to try to take this long. It's just a matter of why Coinbase is absolutely tanking. I noticed that. I see Bitcoin holding steady. As long as you show me a consolidation, this is not the time for wick bottoms. This is the time for consolidation bottoms at 1020. I just reloaded some Micron. The dance on Intel at 44 is wild. It's got for the last 15 minutes, Intel has been going sideways off the same level. Remember I said Funware holding VWAP? So I just took a couple legs out. Now I'm down to a third of the position on the short of Funware. If it's not behaving the way that I want, I can either get out of the trade or I can trim the trade. I got to do something because it's not falling the way that I expected. So I went from just about half the position to a third of the position on Funware. Is DWAC's even bouncing here? So let's go to the desk with Adara.
This is a really quick one. Rumble just up about 13%, now getting another really nice pop in the last couple minutes, the 3-minute chart here. So good look for RUM.
6.
Rumble, young.
Oh, yeah, it broke 6.
Okay. Yeah, someone was in the money at Rumble. Oh, yeah, there's a couple people, you mentioned that already, in the chat about Rumble, and very, very excited.
That was clean.
For that trade. Yeah, that Rumble's a good trade, man, that's for sure. We hit that the other day when it was first starting up. Okay, so unfortunately, the last little reload there, AMD is still, well, Coinbase is my #1 stock, but AMD is going to be #2. That last reload there, we got it all the way. I mean, our best fill there, 177.69. Our last reload was 25s, and then there's the out at 50. Does it suck? Yeah, because we're right here right now. But I've said before, a couple times, in fact, that we didn't want to mess too much with AMD when it starts to go. This has been disastrous for me doing that. So I'm going to wait on this one now because we don't need to do anything with it. So yeah, exactly. Here comes the hot stepper. Here comes the market. It's right up to the upside now. We're going to have to be careful with it. Snapchat's still not doing anything. We'll hold off on that. We did get a Roblox fill right here. We didn't get the very bottom there when Kathy was calling because she distracted us, but that was $40.75. We do have a bid. We have a bid at 40.70, so it just didn't, it went down and hit that and didn't fill us. Now it'll come back in, so that's where our next bid is there. We'll see if that one wants to hold out for us. That's Roblox, hopefully to the downside now. And then Alibaba's a little bit of a danger spot right here because we talked about this when we had this trade. It was never really filling up for us. It wasn't giving us the trade that we had hoped for on Alibaba. That short was great, but we were lucky to get that wick. It didn't, sure, we took 20, well, that's 90s. So we took 20 cents, but the problem is, it shouldn't be doing this right now. The market's down. Now it should be because the market's going back up to the upside. But this is some of the stuff that goes through this head is why are we getting up here? So I'm only gonna give this, we are approaching, again, just kind of these tops right there. See that top? Forget about all these levels. It's just more about what I'm looking at on the chart. 74.10. So that's a level that looks like it wants to break. We'll try one more into that, but that's where I am right now, 74.10 on Roblox.
Yeah, it's about adjust, because I hear you doing the same thing that I'm doing on Funware, which is about adjusting to what the market is essentially telling you, because it's not always going to be what you want to hear. And I'm looking at Micron here, and the market's not telling me what I want to hear at this point. So I reloaded it, scalped some out, but what's happening now is liquidity grab at the open. What has happened at 87, that key price? Legitimate liquidity grab, and then now it's making higher lows. If I take another trade in this after scalping some out, it's got to be tight to 88. Let it get up to that 88 price instead of trying to get out in front of it. The market's looking a little bit strong. So have to adjust things here, which is take a small scalp trade, won't even get to VWAP, and now you have to wait for the 88 level to start to come in. Square's about to take the top off right now. So it's pretty much at that 64 level again. I'm going to go to the 15-minute chart to give you an idea. Once you broke here, 64 is a nice round number, but 65 would be the bigger level. This has a lot of room to run to the upside. Back in time just said ARM. Why the heck is ARM still not big? All the other chip names are starting to go up and ARM isn't. So let's file this one away, that ARM doesn't want to rally as much as I'm seeing the other chips start to get back to their highs. This might be worth something to us later on in the day if the futures get the tops. If I get stopped out of Micron and this never breaks its high, that could give me a bit of an option. As Fabian just mentioned, I could say ARM is bending to the downside. I'll give that a 6 out of 10, Fabian.
Yeah.
What's wrong with a 6?
I think that's
solid.
fair.
It gives you got to give room to improve at all times. It's not terrible. ARM bending to the downside, I mean.
It's. I kind of agree with Ramin. I think we can.
You have a 4?
I think we can do a lot better. Yeah, I'm not even going to rate it. It's not really. I think he can do better than that. Ramin did a 4, so. Okay,
it's certainly not over the top like Sly Stallone.
See that? Yeah. See that? Then now you have like a reference to a movie and everything like that. So I think that's a good one there.
And if you've never seen Over the Top,
that's pretty wild. That movie.
Imagine making a movie
Here comes
about arm wrestling, and it's actually probably one of his best films. And anybody, I'll tell you this right now. If you're a father, you'll understand exactly what I mean when you watch that movie. Trust me, you'll understand exactly what I mean about that. And if you're a parent in general, you don't have to be a father. If you're a parent in general, it's about arm wrestling, and the guy's a trucker, and it's a great movie. I'm watching that crap. Well, I don't know where I can watch it this weekend, so I'm not.
Yeah, I don't know. It's probably
maybe it's on Tubi, probably.
It's probably on something for free. Yeah, I would agree with that. Okay, so we're just doing the same old stuff right now. We do have, again, we have a new position. We did short here. I'm going to take a piece out if we break below. I'm going to bid 90s here. So this is AMD, and there it is. So we'll wait to see. Hopefully we can get another fill on this one. We just got a fill on Alibaba. We reloaded that. We talked about this position as well. Okay, slow down now, dog. Hopefully the market will come back in again, but there's another reload there in Alibaba and just some more outs. Like we got that 95s. I mean, we'll take all of those. Hopefully it continues downside. But we do have a crypto update, which should be important as this is doing that with Bitcoin at 41.2, and then Coinbase just kind of hovering around figuring out what it wants to do. There goes Alibaba again. Let's go. This is going to be another good one for us here. Roblox, Alibaba, and then everyone's favorite chip name. Maybe not today, maybe it's Intel, but AMD right now waiting for 180. I'm shorting this name until 180. If it breaks 180, remember we said what we would do, and so far we've done it, and it's my second stock. So we're just going to keep following that trend. We said if we get above that 180, then we're going to get away from this name and not stand in front of this like a freight train that it is. So we'll short a little bit more near 180, but then that's it. We'll see what it wants to do. It's AMD and it's Adara.
NVIDIA pre-market.
Yeah, we're going to look at Bitcoin in just a second, but first an update regarding the SEC delaying the Grayscale spot ETF, Ethereum ETF story until May. So now that we have Bitcoin ETFs, Ethereum next on the line, but the SEC delaying that decision, so definitely keep an eye on that. worth watching as well. Also, CleanSpark CEO speaking on CNBC yesterday with regards to halving. So if you are involved in CLSK, that might be of interest as well on CNBC. In terms of Bitcoin itself, really nice move back into this area of previous support, this just above that 41,000 area. We've been jumping around 41.5. Right now, we're just around that 41.2. Really good look after a couple days of stagnation for Bitcoin. Here we are, Bitcoin up about 3.5%. Like I said, around that 41.2, 41.250. Ethereum up about 2.5% as well. Now above that 2,200 level. And most of these crypto names really strong across the board. Solana up 5%. Ripple up 2.5%. Cardano up 3.5%. Avalanche up almost 7%, guys.
They turn, as Sean just said, they turn on the machine.
They're turning the machines on again. They're on again. They're buy-side chip names. The machines are on. Damn it, Kathy. That's what she was phoning about.
And well, here's quickly what's happening. I'm not gonna. I gotta be really patient.
Never again.
Either I'm not reloading Micron, or it has to be right at 88. 615 pre-market highs just broke on NVIDIA. NVIDIA's green in a few seconds here, so you gotta watch out. Intel. The reason, like Intel just does not want to go yet. So I'm really thinking, why not just, instead of waiting around for this 88, why am I not just trying to short Intel if it gets back under VWAP? So I'll just stop out if you break the high on Micron and just get that you-know-what out of Dodge. Renata, I know you're out. My plan is similar, although this wick here almost trailed me out. I was trailing to, and this is really creative. See this top in there? I needed it to break 63.90. So my trail was just under there on square. And once it hits 50s, I'm going to tighten that one up. It continues to go to the upside. But for me, the reason, I'm going to go back to this, the entire reason for this trend trade was learning from yesterday. Like, it's long off the bottom, which I bungled, and then the second trade is off of the high. So it's about as easy, like technically that's about as easy as it gets. If it doesn't break through previous price, respect the fact that that's a bit of a pullback and you double bottom at 62. If it does break, hold till next decision point. Same thing here. It's broken out. Now you look for like 65 or somewhere to trail out of it. It's Micron that's got to be of concern. So I have not added back into this, and I won't unless we get to that 88 level. Like, it's just, the chips are back at it right now.
Chips are a problem. Yeah, we just talked about them turning that back on. We'll hold a small piece here against 180, but that we were short 179.77, and we just got out 180. I'm just going to give this a little bit more room here, and then we're out at 180.20 if it breaks higher. Like, they just got, again, we're not digging our grave here today on these names. There's no way. We're just going to give this another shot. Maybe now we get that pullback that we saw yesterday.
Still not.
So I'm going to give a bid here at 80 to see if we can take 20 cents, which is the risk that we have on this trade. Here it comes, 81. Okay, there it goes. I was going to say don't stop, and then hopefully. But here we go. Now, see, now all of a sudden we're positive on this name today. So a bid of 74, there it comes out. And then we will bid of 50s. So there it is, man. Like, even though we did this on AMD, we're a completely different beast today. We're completely different. We don't trade that the same way, not even close. And there comes AMD. Yes, sir. Wow. Talk about, like, trying to, like, we're growing with you guys, literally, as the show is. There it is. Yes. Boom! AMD right now back to number 2 on my board. We were going red there on AMD. We still could, but there it is. We'll take another piece out right now. We're back in business, baby, and that's that trade right there. So we finally, man, we waited. Yes. Okay. Now, boom. AMD again. Really super pleased with. Okay. All right, this could be a big one here. Let's see if that fade is for real right now. Here it is, man. It's another 70 cents. We talked about the risk of this was 20 cents. Here's 70 right now for you if you want to take it. That's 70 cents right there. We'll take 80 right there. Let's see if we can get this going again. And again, we are so much better today than we are tomorrow. Imagine how good we're going to be on Monday, like every day you come in and I feel like you got to get better. You got to get better as a trader. You got to learn from your mistakes. Yesterday we dug a grave with AMD. Today that grave is being resurrected, baby. And there it is right there. It's a nice AMD trade. We'll see what happens moving forward now.
That's what it's all about. Be one step. I just noticed the bull and bear again.
Because they're not sure what they're doing, these bulls and these bears. That's the problem,
No, we did this yesterday. I should remember.
Yeah.
But I just got out of square. At the end of the day, the market, the best thing about the market, it's like sports. You're playing the same game on the same court or on the same field. but it'll never be quite exactly the same. Rules are always the same. The ball, the hoop, the market, the bid, the ask, the stocks, but each day you're going to get a little bit different. Like LeBron's going to flop one way one
you play
day.
a different opponent.
Yeah, play a different opponent, right? Like one day LeBron's flopping because you gave him an elbow. The other time it's like, oh, you back him down in the post, and then you breathe on him and he falls over.
Right, and he looks at the ref, is like, do you know who I am?
He's changing his game, so you've got to adapt your game to it. Shout out to Jokic for being smart about that back in the day. But anyways, like that's what it's all about in trading. That's why we're trying to show you the thought process by everything. It doesn't mean every decision is going to be right, because this last outing square is not going to look very good. So I'm just going to get this one out of the way. It did this wick, and this looked to me like a big reversal candle. The second I saw that, I'm like, oh, let's get out. If I can grab 30, let me just grab 30. So I offered 30, and I got filled real fast, which usually means it's a pretty strong stock. So I'm now out of this trade. No more square. But again, you've got to take the profits. No one ever went broke taking profit. Don't look a gift horse in the mouth. It went 62 to top. It went VWAP 63 to 64. So we'll just take it a couple times. And it goes from what was the most embarrassing trade for me yesterday, making that bottom, to getting the bottom the next day. And the truth of the matter is, I don't make this trade if I don't take the hit yesterday. And all that matters is don't lose more here than you can make there. That should be obvious. Micron, we'll see. Because this it got back up to the 88. It didn't quite give me the fill, and it's still stair-stepping the upside. I'm shorting it in front of 88 or bust, and then if it busts it, then fair enough. Funware is the other thing we're still in. It's still hanging around at VWAP. So I only own a third of the position left. I'm looking for it to press lower at this point. The market is at these highs. I'm not rushing to try to do battle with this at this top. If it wants to break it out, I'm not trying to go long at 1040 at the market highs. And if it wasn't an already planned level to short, like Apple 96, nowhere close. I'm already on the offer at Micron at 88. I am thinking maybe Intel, though. See what Intel's doing at VWAP? Sideways, sideways, sideways. It's down 11%. If it's running out of steam, and I can find a short that risks less than 10 cents, that might just be worth it here on Intel.
Okay, so AMD. I said my stop was 180.50, but I just got out at 180.20. It could tank from here, but I just want to let everybody know I punched it out. Why? Because our best fill down here, sure, we waited for 50 cents. So that's why we changed it. I just didn't want this name to go all the way back up and then squash these trades, because remember what we said, we're taking profit, we're being patient, and we're not going to lose all the way up there. So right there, that seems like, and we'll wait for it, a good out. Now it's coming back in, but risk to reward wise, was really happy with that. So it did touch out. I guess we should have waited for 50s, but again, just trying to be a little different, trying to do things a little more comfortable right there and just punch out once it goes against us and still capture the profit of that first trade. But it's been difficult today. It was really just that move right there. Neil just talked about Intel dancing in and around VWAP again, and that's exactly what it's doing. So this is difficult off the open. I don't know how you really make money there. And then even if you buy the bottoms, you get stopped out. And then right there, I guess if you were really looking long at 43.45, that's a good position. But right now it's not doing too much. So I think that we're probably right in thinking that we got to look to other names, not this earnings name right here. The other earnings name that we should have looked at on day 2, just like we looked at, we talked about Netflix yesterday, Netflix on day 3, but Tesla. And this was another great bottom there. And again, you had to be there watching it to be able to identify, but there it is. I don't know if you take it that first time because you don't really have confirmation that that's anything. This could keep going. But then when it makes a move back up, does not break that high, but then comes back in, I feel like you could go long against that level. And then if it breaks, you get out, and then maybe you go short. But I feel like that last move right there, 182.50, probably could have been had against 182. So if it comes back in, that'll be a trade for me that I'll look at, as well as a possible shorting now in and around 186. And we're close to being there right now. So I don't know. As you can see, I only have Roblox on. Alibaba's still a positive name, but it gets run to the top. So again, short and out, and then out for flat. So a lot of the trades that we have today, like this Palantir trade, it did come back up to the spot where we shorted that or we got out. But again, buying those pre-market bottoms on names that we like, I gotta start to possibly think about getting some more screen space. And I know I have 4 screens, but it's like I gotta look at more
There's
charts.
a solution for this.
Well,
This one can be way bigger. I was like, we can make this, because it's like you could have a much bigger monitor. You guys can't see it, but like we have ones that, because of the cameras, you can't do anything about it. Like this is how much screen space we have.
Yeah, it is what it is, but I think we could fix it somehow.
And you could literally have a monitor right here. There's nothing there. Anyways, I believe I heard.
Good idea.
I did. We got to go to Adara. It's time for Sector Watch. Let's go UNH.
Sector Watch, definitely all these sectors being impacted by earnings here. Finance, AXP, American Express making new all-time highs throughout the day after its earnings, specifically its guidance for the next quarter. Producer manufacturing a bit more mixed here. Consumer services a bit mixed as well. Health services having a nice rebound after a down day yesterday on Humana's earnings. So another one very much impacted by those earnings. Consumer services, Visa down on earnings. The rest of the group a little bit more mixed here. Communications, so mostly positive over here as well. Health technology mixed with some definite strength here from DHR reporting next week. And Eli Lilly up almost 1%. Of course, we do have to talk about these tech sectors. Pretty much flat on the day for technology services. Netflix and ServiceNow notably positive. Both of these were earnings plays from earlier in the week. Electronic technology super weak across the board here. Specifically, these chip names led to the downside by Intel, down double digits after its earnings, specifically its guidance here. So basically earnings on the horizon throughout these sectors, guys.
SMCI just broke
Look
the
at
top.
AMD tanked.
Seriously?
Damn.
So SMCI is breaking the highs. I'm in that Intel off of VWAP, by the way. I did try to clean up this wick, and the wick came back the very next day. But
Yeah, well, you thought it was a goner, but
it clearly wasn't. You
wick-
can
that
can
wick
right
came
click
back.
it and but whatever. It popped back. It's just a dark pool print. If you got 4960 on Intel, congratulations. But 4420 is VWAP. So I am in this one. It's the last 2 things standing that are going to actually follow the market, because Funware truly is not, obviously. But if MU takes 88, we're out of that one. If this takes 44.20, we're out of that one. It's been a good morning. I don't want to throw good money at bad. I said Intel was the one not really breaking, and they're the reason they're supposed to be down, so why wouldn't you be on that? Square continues to go higher, but if I get anything, I got to be thinking maybe it's VWAP or this original high. It's about 63.90. If it dips back down into here and can't get to VWAP, then Square can be a reload at that price. I will acknowledge now, which is, it's obvious, hindsight is always going to be 20/20. That's sort of the thing. I got back into Square on the way up, but I did not get back into Mara because don't know why. Just didn't take it. I saw it bounce off 17. I was like, let's go. This is it. And then I just was like, yeah, I'm not going long. Didn't have a really good reason for doing it. Sometimes you just listen to your gut, and that was stupid to have done so. This looked pretty good here off that 1720 for the higher low. Relatively strong in Mara versus some of the other crypto I'm looking at. Just in time, that's a good movie. That's a great name. Saying Rumble is still
moving
the
around.
thing about Rumble, like look at the way that it moves. Like look at the bottom here on Rumble from yesterday. Okay, so what do you like? Right, then it breaks out the top. It goes right to this lower high. Going to consolidate for a little bit, go sideways, break the $6 level, which is this high, go up, make another consolidation, make another break. So how do you want to play? You want to take the breakout? You want to sit there once it starts consolidating, makes a wick bottom?
What you want to do?
Go buy the higher low, give it to there. Like that's literally worked the entire morning. So I guess you wait for the next consolidation, which would be somewhere around here. Go into that long. Bob's your uncle. All it has to do is then break out the top. But I haven't been trading it, but it looks absolutely fantastic. Looks like we're now at 96 on MU. So that's like 6 cents, well, 4 cents away. Now it's coming back down a bit, but it's very close to stopping it out. I'm not adding it. You can put it at even dollar. I like to put it, if you put it at 1s or 2s or 3s, it's probably not going to matter when it breaks the level. And it's the same thing with Intel here. Like Intel looks like it might take out that top. That's like 44.20. I know it's hard to see because of that wick. Looks like this market wants higher. You're already seeing NVIDIA channel up. It's actually pulling. Like if NVIDIA's pulling back and making a higher low, these other chips should be trying to work right here, right now.
Stupid.
Oh yeah, by the way, I neglected to mention, I got out of SoFi at VWAP That should be kind of, we talk about this all the time. If I go counter trend to catch a bottom, I'm usually covering a weak name in front of VWAP. So, you know, SoFi bounced off 750. I was out at 67s. So I know SoFi is still going, but, and also they report on Monday.
Oh, damn.
I think you're getting a range-bound day on SoFi. I think it doesn't necessarily break the bottom, and I don't think it breaks the top either.
Props, Daryl, in the chat there. I'm just glad, I mean, I'm glad that you made money on that. Damn it. We stopped out on AMD. Oh, and we talked about like, oh, we're going to get out at 20s and then why we like that and we didn't hold for 50s. You know, so we basically, we make money on the trade, but now would be $1. Let's say $1 in the money. We were short 180. So yeah, good call on that one by holding that and not fretting about that 180 there like I did. So, okay, well, whatever. It came back in. I mean, the thing about that trade, I can't really hate it. I could just hate myself. Like that high rate there was 180.73. But again, like remember what I said, like trying to be a little different and not average in all the way because of the machines. Got to come to the screen here, Fabian, for a sec. You know, the machines were on here and we were talking about that. Now they're turned off. So we might just have to keep watching it. We don't have too much time left. It's 10:47, but I'll watch to see what happens here with the market today and AMD one more time. So that's going to haunt me. But you know what? We've had some good trades. So I'm not going to sit here and worry about it. But good hold there. Very good hold there. I'm going to take a 179.50 up to 180 and then give it to 180.50 again. I still think AMD is down, and I want to be short just in case that does come through for us. So that's a name there. Roblox still doing its thing, man. I'm still waiting for 70s. We want that to come in just a little bit. Snapchat's not doing anything right here. I feel like you could buy this level again. It did go back up to our 50 and faded. So that could be a definite name to look at. And then one name that we didn't look at all today, we haven't looked at Meta or Microsoft, and it's getting along in the tooth here. This is back up to day's high again for Meta. So, you know, you get that smiley face trying to complete this right here. I think this looks bearish to me up at these levels now, especially if I'm being biased to the market and I think that we can get down more. But this is a good little area if you think that 395 is something that you like on Meta, way up, man. I cashed out of some of this the other day. That's going to be a wrong call as well. Maybe not. It was at these levels, but this looks like it wants to take down 4 bills right there, and that is Meta. And then before I throw it back, I pinned this. Now is a good time if you haven't voted. Go ahead and vote in the poll. Maybe Bears, actually, you know what? I'll put this in the chat right now because I want to see some more people voting on this just to see where we're at. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, everything. But go over here because right now we are in a spot where we're going to find out. The market here is starting to go Greensville. It's a nice move up, 371 votes, and it's pretty flat, which is surprising to me. So let's wait to see what happens here with this poll. But right now, NASDAQ, red or green? Red is still winning. I tend to think maybe we get green here by the end of the day.
The way this market is going, it really does want that top. That's what it feels like. There's an IPO that's done no volume.
Oh, yeah. Did that come out?
No, not, it's another one.
Not BTSG?
It's HAO. The other one hasn't opened up yet, but this thing opened and insta-halted. I had 200,000 of volume on an IPO. I know sometimes the lighter ones are good, but that's stretching a little bit as far as I'm concerned. So we're about to get to money talks, but you can imagine 44.20 is about to break on Intel. Micron just broke the 88. So the only good decision was not adding to Micron. We got that scalp out. We added one time after scalping it up. But remember saying it was just higher lows? Like the stock was just putting in higher lows. So it was like, okay, get something out for something small and then try to limit the damage. It never really failed this 88 level. But before we go to Adair at the desk, I just want to point something out here. The market's taking out the highs. All these chip names are surging, and ARM is down 2% and making lower highs. So the next time I look for a short, if Intel stops out 44.20, fair enough. Either I'm holding that, but if I look for a short, why shouldn't I be looking at ARM? That's relative weakness. We talk about relative strength and relative weakness. This is the chip name that's not going. This should be the one I'm looking for if the market turns around. Let's go to the desk for Money Talks.
2%, eh?
USD still in this same range we've seen in the DXY for the last couple weeks here, bouncing around that mid 103 area, but we did take a big move to the downside earlier today, on these PCE numbers. So core PCE coming in actually lower than expected, 2.9% versus 3%. Expected here. And then the core PCE index month over month coming in exactly in line. We did get a little bit of a boost up yesterday on the DXY on that higher than expected quarterly GDP. That came in at 3.3%, sorry, versus the expected 2%. So definitely a big move up there. Doing a little bit of the opposite here at the core PCE, but definitely we will have to keep the DXY on watch coming into this next week with some data, including the Fed meeting and the Fed rate decision Wednesday at 2 p.m. So lots to keep an eye on with the DXY. Right now, we're still topping and trimming in that same range. And don't forget to like and subscribe.
That was a weird question. No, we get some weird stuff in our ear from Fabian every now and then, Remain. But like as Adara was talking about, obviously, money talks. You can talk a little about the currencies and how they're doing. Randomly, I was just asked in my ear, are there cashmere futures that you could invest in? And I'm like cashmere, like the cashmere sweaters? I'm like, I like them too, but okay.
There's cotton futures.
Yeah, but not cotton futures. For cashmere futures?
Not Palantir. People talking about Palantir.
So the only thing left for me is Intel and fun, and the fun on Funware shorts could be coming to an end soon. Probably a good idea to get some more out of VWAP. Look at it, hug VWAP. It's headed higher. My stop is now at break even, or just a little bit above break even. We got some fills above 35. When trading penny stocks, just a note to everyone, like you'll see I'm short Funware 35. I'm short 353. It cuts it off at 2 decimal points. So when I'm penny stocks, it can make a bit of a difference here. So I am, like this fill here and the key price was actually a little bit over the 35 level. So I want to give it to 35.5. Just give it a little bit of room there, but it is looking relatively strong. As I said, Micron already broke out. Intel looking like it's close. 44.20 has been the resistance. It's about to test that now. I got 10s short. Stop just above that 20 level. SoFi is probably still going, which I'm frustrated I'm not still in. And I really did think we'd get a pullback in Square to go long again. Nope. Square is only going one way, and it's upside. Like a Jorge Soler home run. Hopefully, potentially the newest member of the Toronto Blue Jays if they actually decide to spend some money this offseason. But one can dream.
Yeah. Hopefully they'll be able to do that. We need another bat there. Apparently we're in for Chapman again, so we'll see. It's always nice to get the 10th. He coming in 10th place. Like where was he down there? I know he's a good third baseman.
I want Cody Bellinger.
That's what I'm saying. Okay, so
Rogers is rich. They can afford Cody Bellinger. Anyway,
yeah, man.
Matter, right?
Yeah. Well, they're using your money, right, as a season ticket holder. So you're the one that has the
and a shareholder.
Yeah, you're exactly. So you're the one.
Baby.
You're the one that has the right to be upset. Okay, so there we go. Here comes AMD again. Again, we're short at 180 again right now. This time I'll give it to 180.50, but this is not the right time right now. The market's at the highs. And we are probably going to turn green. I'm just trying to do the hold now back through, and I don't think it's going to happen. Before I came up here, and it just immediately.
I just got stopped out of Intel.
Right, you got stopped out of Intel. Okay, so not good. So right now, Intel's making moves back. Here it goes. There's 50s. There it is. So we'll slap the fill on that last try right there. Yesterday it was so good once it hit that top, but right now it's just turned green. So remember when AMD was down on the day, and we were like, okay, well, AMD's down, and then now it is not. So you're going to have to wait for AMD to settle down right now before you do anything with it. That was just another try. It is reminding me of all of this. So we're gonna, like right there, that's 181. If you want to test that level, that could be something. We're at there right now, and look at it just go. Like it was just at 178. So now you're at 181 and starting to go higher and higher and higher here. So yeah, man, this is not surprising to anybody, but it is happening, and AMD is on the run again, and NVIDIA probably not too far. Are we at the 20s yet? Yeah, so right there. So 620 coming into play here for AMD. That's another trade or for NVIDIA. That's another trade that you might want to look at those highs. 620. We've been there. Let's see if it fades back through again.
So I want to answer this question, but if I get the name wrong, apologize in advance. Is it Yalcin or Yalkin? Yalcin here. Why did you close SoFi and Square? Because I don't have we have a magic 8 ball, but I don't have a crystal ball. right? So with SoFi, it was just weak stock off of support to VWAP. The second it showed some kind of sell weakness at VWAP, get out. And then with Square, it's a similar thing, right? Like you're playing it by the ranges, here to here, like yesterday there to there, and once it broke, give it to the pre-market high up there, get out, then hold, go into the previous resistance level, go into the long out before it breaks the high. Once it broke the high, I'll zoom in a little bit further. Once it broke the high, just observe the afternoon flush zone. It showed me weakness at that price, trail out of it, look for a pullback, because it gave you the pullback in a previous resistance the first time to get back in. So I just figured that's the pattern, stick to the pattern, it comes back in and we'll go long somewhere around 63.80 to 64, or maybe VWAP or something like that, and it just kept on going higher. So, obviously it would have been the right call to still be in it, but my style of trade, what's been working better for me the last 3 to 4 weeks, now let's call it the last calendar month, has been generally hold to the next decision point. Like scalp out, hold to the next decision point, then get out there. If it goes further, it goes further. If it pulls back, it pulls back. Try not to fight it. Look, what the heck, Intel? I just got out at 44.20. It's at 44.50 already.
Yep. That's what's happening.
Like these chips are flying. So I'm out of my longs. The only thing I'm short is Funware, which kind of hopefully doesn't follow the markets because it's Funware. And the other thing about Funware is DWAC, when this stock loads up, DWAC is like it's near the highs. So DWAC bounced off and kind of got back in near to those highs. And Funware is still at least holding off from breaking its highs of the day. But clearly, if DWAC takes out the highs, you're going to see me out of Funware right quick. We'll see what happens there. Let's go ARM, apparently. Like, I actually thought ARM was the last stock chip name that you can think about shorting because it's nowhere near breaking its tops. So if the market does want to curl, that's got to be one of those. So I'm out of all my longs. The longs, my best trades were long today, like Square and Mara, but I'm out of both of these ones and looking for a re-entry that makes sense. Maybe I can get back in at VWAP. Maybe there's a break on Mara, and Square is almost too far gone at this point. Rivian was a very quick in and out trade that I could have come back to. See, even Rivian you could have got back to. That's the problem. The opportunity cost of shorting these, looking for those shorts, was maybe not getting back into Rivian off the 15 level, because now that's starting to go to the upside. So this one looking like it wants to hold the next level up, which is right here. So yesterday's top of 15.30, if it breaks out from there, I'll structure a long off 15.30 to the local bottom, which looks like 25. So if Rivian takes the high, you probably see me go long. But it's 10:59. It's Friday. We got a long way to go. The market's almost green, but not there yet. We'll be back at 2 o'clock. You know how we roll. I'll come back on. We get Learn to Trade. I'll be back on at 12 to give you the real deal. And then we got the regular afternoon. Just a reminder, because we reminded everybody of this. It's a regular Friday today. So that means the podcast will be taped tonight. So there will be no market recap show, but the podcast is taped tonight and then dropped tomorrow morning. The last couple of Fridays, the podcast was taped on Thursday. Today it is being taped tonight after market.
Good review. I'm shorting the triple Qs right now just to see if the NASDAQ goes green or not. We're right at that level, so we're going to give it a shot. Well, here it goes right now. So we're going to short the Qs right here, right now, just against this 50 level. So if it breaks through 426.50, not 427.50, then we will be out of that one. So starting a position right now on the triple Qs, trying to see if we want to get up to that 426.50 area. So that's what we're doing. We're in the money now on it, but this is an early trade. Let's see what happens with the triple Qs, and let's get ready to go over. Well, we'll go over right now. Thanks for watching. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. You're going to get some edumacation now from the midday show. So let's rock and roll. It's Sharif, it's Adara. See ya.
Thank you very much.